Hello, everybody. Welcome to MtM Vegas Live. Hey, Mark, what's up? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah,
The
me too.
intro music got me pumped. I'm ready to go. I got my cooler, so I don't have to get up. Besides maybe going to the bathroom, but got the beers in the
Oh, God.
cooler.
Nice.
Got the baseball mug cup, so we're ready to go.
All I got is my sparkling ice coconut limeade, so hopefully that sustains me for a while going on here. But yeah, this is exciting. Our first live stream on the YouTube channel. We live stream all the time in our Facebook group and for our Patreon subscribers in the Miles and Points side. But this is our first Vegas-themed live stream and MtM Vegas Live, which is our weekly news show on the channel. So welcome everybody who's here. We have a really fun show for you. Bethany from Bougie Miles is here. Adam from Travel Fanboy is here. We are going to be debating which side of the strip is better, and I know Mark and I are going to get into at least 5 or 6 fights during this show because that's what you guys came here to see, isn't it?
Yes. Arguments, joking, ball busting, all of it. All the good stuff. Tell our stories in Vegas. I have quite the story if we have time. I don't know if we'll get to it this time, but if not, in a future podcast about batteries. And it was the story I told Shawn. It was the story I told Shawn the very first time I met him.
I don't know if that we might have issues. We have to be very careful with how we tell that story.
Yeah, I'll use the proper words. Don't worry.
Yeah, but we'll get there. But yeah, it's good. I just got back into Vegas. I was on the East Coast in Atlantic City for a little bit, and on the Jersey Shore, and I had the pleasure of flying back from Newark Airport, where I got to use the porta potties in the terminal. So that was all good.
Always good in Newark. New Jersey. What's up? That's where I grew up. So I can trash New Jersey because I live there. I'm allowed, right? Isn't that
I like New Jersey. I had fun on the Jersey Shore. I don't like Newark Airport, that's for sure. But
nobody likes Newark Airport. Getting into it, getting out of it, flying through it. Oh, it's tough. Yeah. So Jersey Shore. You did? Did you tour the house or did you just go by the house?
We went by the house. I was there in that exact area in 2011, but we spent a little bit more time to some of the piers and stuff. But we did walk by the Jersey Shore house. You can tour it now too if you want, and I guess the store, my friend Dave is a big Jersey Shore nerd. Shout out to Dave. And so he told me all this stuff, like this is the store where they worked, and that's the guy who was their boss. And so I got to see all of that stuff, which was different. But yeah, it's a cool place. The Jersey Shore it's Americana. It's a little.
I've always wanted to rent that room at Real World's done Vegas a couple times. The one at the Golden Spike. It looks like a cool room. It's really not. For a big suite, I know the Spike, it used to be a casino, now it's just like a bar / hotel, but they have a couple really unique rooms that I always wanted to check out. And that was one of them, and you can get it for, for like $400 or $500 for a suite with multiple bedrooms, lots of beds, you can fit a lot of people. So that'd be kind of a unique, interesting way to stay in Vegas, I think. And you're just right off of Fremont, short walk by the container park, so you got lots of options.
Yeah, it's good. I know back in the days when they had the original Real World at the Palms right after it opened, I think that was one of the early seasons, that suite was available for rent. I wonder what happened to it. I'm sure it's been renovated since then, but I know with all their other suites that they had in the new tower, like the Playboy suites and stuff like that, it kind of lost favor over time. What's up everybody? Good to see so many people who comment regularly, and we definitely appreciate all you guys. Great to see you guys here joining us, and it's a lot of fun. And as this is a big week for Vegas, right? I mean, Resorts World is opening this week, and that's going to be like everybody else says kind of, yeah. Well, it wouldn't be a good Vegas opening.
We'll see. They got fires and stuff not ready, so it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what the hotels and restaurants. I know there's a couple restaurants that aren't going to be open in time, but I'm pretty sure the hotels are pretty set. So, and at least the pool's open, so they already got one up on Virgin with having the pool. So.
Yeah, no, the pool looks good. They've been having previews for a couple weeks. I know they've had travel agents in there, and then they've been testing the property, which is actually, let's talk about it. I mean, there was fake reviews all over Google. All of a sudden, this property had tons of reviews of people that had stayed there, and it wasn't even open yet to the public. And I know that I saw it on Twitter, and I think I don't remember who found it. Another YouTuber. Oh God, I can't. Was it Not Leaving Las Vegas? I think it was him who found the fake reviews, and I think they're all taken down now. But Do you think that Resorts World did this on purpose? You think that they were trying to be sneaky and they got caught, or you think it was an innocent mistake? Their employees were reviewing it, and
I mean,
and
it could
they
be a
got
mix
carried
of
away.
both. It wasn't like a ton. It was like 100 or something. So I would think if you're paying bots or something like that to leave reviews, it'd be a lot more than that. So it could be employees that were excited. I know they brought in influencers and stuff, I think, over the last week. So it could be some of that.
Where was our invitation? Nobody bothered to invite us. But
we don't take free stuff. We don't
No,
like
that's
that.
true.
We don't play that game.
That's true.
Because
I mean, we do go to like press events and stuff, but yeah, we don't review anything if we get it for free. So we'll never use the word review if we didn't pay for it ourselves. So like all the videos on the channel, if it's a comp based on play or something like that, then that's different. Then that's considered paid
you
for.
definitely paid for it. Yeah, you definitely paid for it.
But if it's them contacting us, then we may highlight it. Like I stayed at Waldorf Astoria a couple of years ago, and that was from Hilton Honors, and that was complimentary. So I didn't review the hotel because the room was given to me for free, stuff like that. So we want to always be able to say what we want to say, and unfortunately, when you take free things, it's not always possible, and we've learned that the hard way. So
well, you have. I've never been gifted something so nice.
Yeah. Well, there's always time coming. No, but yeah, to your point, it looks like they've taken some pages out of the Virgin playbook. Getting influencers, and although that's always been their strategy, right, to get big names, get a lot of buzz, and I think they really want to attract younger people, and that's what they're trying to do there. But the fake reviews, that kind of leaves a little bit of a bad taste, I think, in some people's mouth right before they open. I hope it was just a mistake, and their employees got carried away wanting to support where they're working, and that it wasn't like management telling them to do that.
Yeah, and using social media and influencers and stuff, it's a good marketing tactic. I don't really understand the way Virgin did it, because it was like random, like influencers out in the
Mario
desert
Lopez, yeah.
Well, yeah, that, and then they're like rolling craps at a table that has no chips anywhere, so you obviously know it's staged. So it was like a weird way to do it. Like they didn't do it well. Hopefully Resorts World does it better, but I know we're going to talk about some of the unique things they're offering. So I don't know if you want to roll right into that, like the Grubhub stuff, or...
Yeah, so I mean, just to let people know what it is, they announced a partnership with Grubhub, and instead of having room service, they're basically opening up all their restaurants for ordering, basically order and pick it up anywhere in the resort, or get it delivered anywhere in the resort, right?
Yeah, which, you see this and you're like, duh, why has nobody thought of this before? Like, it seems so easy, you kind of get away from having to deal with room service stuff, but it also opens up, all the stuff they have at the property. And we've already talked about Resorts World, how many restaurants they have and how unique it's going to be and how much it's going to offer. So to pair up with something like Grubhub, where it will get delivered to your room, you order it straight from there, it's genius, to a level that it's almost simplistic, that you can't believe that nobody else has thought of this before or done it. I think that's a really good idea, and I hope it gets picked up everywhere. It's kind of nice if you're getting ready to go out and you just want something to get you by, they'll bring it up to you, type of thing, So, or in the morning when you're hungover and you don't feel like rolling out of bed, boom, Grubhub. And the Grubhub has all these different promos and codes and gift cards and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think it's great if it's just going to go right through the Grubhub app. And I wonder who's paying who for that. I wonder how much Resorts World's paying Grubhub, or is Grubhub sort of doing it to get their name out there, or a cut of the revenue. But it seems like it's going to be good for guests. It basically opens up a lot of your options instead of being limited to a room service menu. And to your point, they really invested a lot in the restaurants here. We're like, what is it, 30 hours until opening, Mark, and I'm starving for the Hawker Center. I cannot wait. I'm going to be like busting down the door to go eat. I'm not going to eat all day tomorrow. I'm going to, hopefully I can get something to eat, because that
was
I'm excited.
Last night we went to, my in-laws had the kids for a couple days, so I'm like, all right, I want to take you to, my wife to a nice dinner, go out to, and she's like, all right, I'm going to, she's on Weight Watchers and hit the point system and all that, so she's like, I'm going to starve myself all day. So when we go, I can eat whatever I want and not feel bad about it. So that's what we did last night. So definitely know that sentiment, where you prepare yourself, you keep the slate clean, and when you roll in, you just grab a little bit of everything.
There you go. That's the way to do it. Viking Cyber, he said, what happened to Win West? Win officially canceled Win West or put it on a permanent hold even before COVID started. So they still own the land, so they could start it back up. And I imagine, if the north end of the strip starts doing better with Resorts World, then we'll probably see some movement on that land. Either they'll sell it or...
That's what happened,
yeah.
Steve Wynn.
Yeah, well, that was, it was interesting because he had the Paradise Park project. That was that whole lake behind Wynn. And it looked really cool with a boardwalk and everything else. And then as soon as he was out of the company, that got canceled and Wynn West got kind of shelved permanently. Paradise Park, I would have loved to see that happen. I know it didn't make a lot of sense, but...
So excited. What do you mean it didn't make... Like, a lake
in
Vegas, what's cool? Like, I want to go rent a boat or a jet ski or something and just go around. Like, I know it probably didn't make monetary sense. I'm sure they would have charged an insane fee to get into it or whatever, but... I think it would have been so cool and so unique for Vegas. Vegas really hasn't done anything that's, you're like, wow. They used to do it all the time. And we've talked about when you have two companies kind of owning most of Vegas, it kind of, hinders thinking outside the box. And that was something that I was looking forward to because there's been so much of just the same thing over and over. That was something completely unique. And I'm a sucker for water and lakes and stuff. So I was looking forward to that.
I was definitely looking forward to it. I was just surprised that such a project would happen. But kind of to your point, this is the guy who was thinking outside the box before corporate Vegas took over. He's the guy who built Mirage and really started the whole mega resort phenomenon, built Bellagio and that beautiful lake and really started dreaming. And then, of course, built Wynn, which was the next evolution of that luxury hotel. So, yeah, I do wish that happened because I thought it would have been a cool project. But the amount of land it was going to take certainly was curious. But now we got the golf courses reopened and they built a conference center, so that's what's left of that project.
The golf course that like 7 people golf on.
Well, those people are happy people though. That looks like a gorgeous golf course. Anybody ever want to invite me out to play? Even though I stink.
Don't invite Shawn. He sucks at
golf. No, he's terrible. It would be lost. No, I would appreciate it.
You invite Shawn to carry the clubs.
Oh God. Okay. As long as we can play best ball, then I'm good. As long as I can just drop my ball wherever you hit it, I'm good.
If you can putt, then you're good. That's all you need.
I'm actually not a bad putter. Just probably from all my mini golf days, but I do much better putting than I do driving. So, a lifelong struggle. But yeah, Wynn West, that would be exciting. Fontainebleau or Fontainebleau. I don't know. I've heard it said both ways. I think it is Fontainebleau though.
I like it better the other way.
That's going to be moving forward. Most likely it has the new owners and we'll probably see an opening. There's some other interesting things. The A's, I had this on the list for later, but the A's have been in town kind of going around different stadium sites. And one of the sites they were looking at is the festival grounds next to Circus Circus. So that's another possible kind of thing for the future. That's now owned by Phil Ruffin. But back to Resorts World. The other big news that was this week was the cashless wagering. Sorry, I can't say that. Which basically you can just hook up your bank account and put unlimited amounts of money automatically on machines, just gamble it all away. And I mean, it's
remember when we did the is that a bank in your pocket? Are you happy to see me? It's kind of worthless if it's
yeah, pretty much. That's what's going to happen there. I remember like 12, 13 years ago. I had a friend who kind of is involved in the problem gambling sector in the kind of not helping people in the therapy sector and things like that. And they were talking about back then about being able to use your debit card right at the machine, and there was some struggle with that. And the state actually approved that back then, but nobody ever implemented it. And it took until last year before they approved kind of this form of it, where basically everything is going to be done through an app. You're going to have a wallet in the Resorts World app hooked up to your debit card. I tried to sign up to figure out how it all works, but it's not all turned on yet. So I was able to get into the app, but I wasn't able to link anything. But hopefully there's limits. I was trying to find information. I couldn't do that, but I feel like it's going to be much easier to lose money quicker.
Yeah, I know they're like all the sportsbook apps and stuff around here and the online casinos, they have responsible gambling where you can set your own daily limits, weekly limits, monthly limits. So I would assume they would put that in there, but if you know yourself that you could get into trouble and they offer it, set it up before you start gambling and start drinking, because that's when I make my worst decisions. I don't know about everybody else, but you're like, oh, I want to keep the party going, but if you have that limit, it'll just error out or whatever. So that I hopefully they have something like that in place. I know somebody commented on last week's video that they're like, no, I won't gamble there if that's all they offer because I want that, paper payout. I want to feel the cash in my hand. And that's kind of a cool experience. I remember, when I got my first job, I went, after college, I went and cashed the entire check at the bank because I just wanted to walk around with that much money. It was like, I'd never had a check that big before. So I get that feeling as well as, you just went, did a walkthrough where there was still the ching 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 coins coming out of the machine, and people miss that and love that, and that's why they still have the slot machines make the noise, but you don't get the coins. I mean, coins are nasty and dirty, but it's still kind of fun to put them all in a bucket and then go to a change machine.
Yeah, your hands all black. I mean, that's what Vegas was about. They used those big coin buckets that were nasty with, your hands black, taking all the nickels or quarters out, and bringing them to the cashier and they dump it in the thing. And those days are gone. I mean, I think that you can still put cash into the machines. Obviously, they're not going to get rid of that option, at least now, probably eventually down the line. But so that experience where you can put cash in and get a paper out is probably still going to be there for people. But I mean, it's just going to make it easier for people to lose they're spinning it as, and so the whole gaming industry is spinning it as more convenient, easier to track, less touch points. But every time you have to do something with your money, whether you cash it out or whatever, it increases the chances that you're going to walk away, and that's what they don't want. And when we went from cash to paper, and now paper to this, it is a problem. But they're casinos ultimately, and they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and this is the future of money anyway.
And that's why they give you chips at the table, because you look at that green chip or the black chip, and you're like, oh, that's $100. But if you were putting $100 bill down every time, you would have a totally different mental process of saying, whoa, this is like $100 real money. But when you're just like, oh, it's just a chip, I got lots of chips. So it's just more into that mental, they're going after the mental aspect of gambling and making it easier for you to forget that it's real money that you're playing with. So it's something to be weary of for sure. I do think if you are good at maintaining your limits and knowing when to stop and all that, I think it'll be nice to have that easier option, but it's something I won't use. I like the cash.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it works now. It seems like it's in a trial, so with the state, so the first 30 days they're going to watch it, see how it goes. If there's no problems, they can approve it permanently as of 30 days in, or they have up to like 120 days to do the entire trial of this. So they're going to be watching to see if there's any unforeseen problems or other things that they're running into. Resorts World has 5 different companies, the tech behind it, so it's sort of crazy. What's going on? What did I miss?
No, Dennis is just a sucker for a lake. Of course, you're from Michigan. Yep. Land of the lakes right here. But
there's certainly
I think everybody that grows up in Michigan just loves lakes because they're everywhere, and that's kind of what everybody does on the weekend, or for summer vacations growing up. It was just, what are you guys doing this weekend? Oh, we're going to the lake, nobody ever has specified which lake. They're just like, oh, okay, cool, we'll have a good time.
Yeah, I mean, that's nice. Here in the summer, we either burn at the lake or we just hide out indoors, but none of that's any fun. But yeah, I mean, we were gonna announce our podcast because, we're having a podcast. Everybody keeps asking for it. So why not? What the F, man? What the F? Why not do it?
By the way, we are going to have one.
Yeah. No, we're super excited because we have the MtM Vegas news show that we do on the YouTube channel, and we're going to continue to do that. But we have lots of stories and more insight and kind of more analysis that we want to offer. So we're going to be starting next week. The MtM Vegas podcast will be in a podcast app near you. And it's going to be Mark and I about, 1 to an hour and a half each week, talking Vegas, kind of going more in depth, longer kind of reviews, longer analysis. We'll be talking probably on this actual live stream will be episode 1. Episode 2 we'll be talking about Resorts World because we're staying there. You're staying at both Crockford's and Conrad, right?
Yeah, and then Saving Traveler, who's helping us moderate in the chat, he's going to be staying at the Hilton too, so we're going to get to see all 3 rooms, and I know Shawn will be taking some video, but we'll get like a good vibe of it. And I podcasts are great because you can go into more depth. The news, MtM Vegas news is more like quick hits. We overview, which is great, and we try to keep it a little bit shorter. But this will be more for the people that really want to get in depth on stuff, and we might pick like a topic or two and just really dive deep. So I'm looking forward to it, as well as more story time and all that type of stuff. Trips. We'll talk about trips in depth and everything like that.
Yeah, just a different side, more of the fun stuff, more kind of a loose conversational stuff that we want to do with Vegas. And then we'll still have the 25-minute news show every week to give you guys the coverage on what's kind of cool and happening in Las Vegas. And that's sort of fun.
Did you want to grab Kel's question real quick?
Yes.
What time is it opening on Friday? Do you know, like, the actual...
Yeah, so it's opening 11 p.m. Vegas time on Thursday night. So
okay.
I did see on Twitter that there's going to be a fireworks show at 9 p.m. for like the VIP crowd around the pool area, which you'll obviously be able to see. So if anybody's going to be there early, they'll be able to see that. But as far as they said, doors open at 11, and then it's a mad rush to get in. So I don't know what time I'm going to get there, but I will be there. So if anybody sees me,
Mike's from Michigan, so he must like lakes too.
So yeah, that's it. 11 p.m. So right around 30 hours from now. And as Mark said, there's some restaurants that are not going to be open. There's a lot of roughness around the edges. The entire strip is still torn up in front of the building.
That's what I'm most nervous about. That, like, just getting in, because everybody's going to be flooding there, and with the strip torn up and access points and just Uber's already being an issue, I kind of dread that whole thing, which I know you wanted to talk about briefly, the Uber prices you saw, so we can roll into that a bit. But I've actually considered, when we fly in on Sunday, because we get in at like 6:15 p.m. on Sunday, and then we're supposed to go to Resorts World, drop our stuff, and then we're going to head out to Circa with some friends because they haven't seen it and check it out. So I'm almost, ready to hire a black car to just take us from the airport there, so we don't have to mess with all the games and try to figure out how to get there. But I'm worried the time's going to be tight, so we'll see.
Yeah, it's crazy. When I was coming back the other day, I was just checking throughout the day what the rates were. From the airport to my house, the cheapest Uber or Lyft usually is about $12 or $13, because I'm not that far. I'm about 5 miles away from the house. And it's been a while, but I believe it was about $13. It's been about a year since I had done a normal one. Thanks, Kel. So I was checking. So the first time I check, it's about $30. And I'm doing Lyft and Uber. I got $50. The highest I got through the day was at about midnight Vegas time, because my flight was supposed to leave Newark at 10 p.m. and get here at midnight. It got delayed till 1:30 a.m. and got here at 3:30 a.m. So on East Coast time was basically like being up all night. But anyway, so I was checking on the plane at midnight Vegas time, and from from the airport to my house was $73 in a regular Lyft, which would normally be $13. When I landed at 3:30 a.m., it cost me $18. So even then I had a surge. I didn't get the actual rate, but that's it's crazy. It's like playing Russian roulette. He's from Ohio.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
Michigan. Oh, hey, my sister lives in Ohio, so good people. Yeah. Good people.
Ohio's great. They got some good amusement parks in Ohio. Cedar Point's in Ohio. Kings Island's in Ohio.
The best amusement park in the country, Cedar Point. If you haven't been, if you like roller coasters, rides, it's not a theme park like Disney or Universal, but if you just like coasters, make a trip to Cedar Point sometime. It's pretty affordable, like $50 for a ticket compared to theme parks, and it's amazing. So some of the best rides you'll find anywhere.
For sure. And that's how we make it up to Mike for calling him, saying he's from Michigan. We just keep kissing Ohio's butt. No, we both really like Ohio, so it's pretty easy to do. But let's roll in. A lot of people requested, they wanted to know our backstories for Vegas, like why we love Vegas. Obviously, I live here. You don't. You live in Michigan. But we both have very different relationships with Las Vegas than each other. But it's sort of been a big part of our lives going forward. And why don't you start us off, Mark? Like you're obsessed. Wait. I want to ask you a question before we go into your story. When you applied to work for Miles to Memories, knowing I lived in Las Vegas, was that sort of any sort of kind of draw to you? Did that ever come into like a thought, like, oh, he's from Vegas, or anything like that? We didn't cover a lot of Vegas stuff, so probably not. But that was just something that came to
it
mind.
never really crossed my mind. But then once I started working, it was kind of nice. I'd be like, oh, well, I gotta go see Shawn. I gotta go to Vegas. I'm sorry.
And then he never calls. He never calls me. No, he just
that's
goes.
That's the greatest thing about the YouTube now, because in our notes we put a little background on our story, and I'm like, normally I would go 2 to 3 times a year, but now it's with the YouTube and Vegas news and meetups and everything, it's gonna be a lot more often. So I have that excuse, I guess you could say. So
All right.
My wife can't get too mad.
All right, so let's talk your backstory. So on the notes here, you said you first gambled at 15 in a bar in Myrtle Beach in South Carolina, I'm assuming.
Yes.
How does that happen?
So my sister was on like a nationwide dance thing where they would compete. They go all over the country for nationals and compete, and they were like the best. So they'd win a lot, and Myrtle Beach was one of the biggest competitions you could go to. So we went like every year. And there was just this like bar that had, a video blackjack machine, but you could get paid out. So my mom sat there, and I gave her the money, and I told her what to do. And I didn't even know, any of the rules of blackjack. I was just like, oh, so I'm probably was hitting like 14 against the 6 and ticking everybody off. But I ended up winning like 30, 40 bucks and thought it was like the greatest thing ever. So, that kind of got me hooked. Baseball cards was kind of like gambling growing up. Like you open a pack and you hope to find, that gold mine or the one thing. So that kind of got me into it. And then, my mom,
For us, Pogs, right? Pogs was like gambling.
Yeah,
Did you do Pogs?
Yeah. Yeah, we played Pogs. So you're the slammers and all that. So that kind of, I've always been that type of thing, like risk, chance, reward type of thing. So I was drawn to it. And then as soon as I turned 18, they have tribal casinos in Michigan. So, that the day I turned 18, I was the last one of my friends to turn 18. And we drove straight out to the nearest casino, which was like an hour away, and spent our 40 or 60 bucks that we had on some slots, and had a great time. And then Detroit, right next to Canada, 19 rolls around. Back then, you could get over with just with birth certificate. So went there when we were 19, and then you would think I would go at 21, but I didn't end up going to Vegas until 23. Just was in college, didn't have any money, so kind of that's the way it went.
All right. Well, let's get it. We'll get into your Verse Vegas trip because I'm really interested. Yeah, Pogs. I mean, Mark and I are close to the same age, so like I think everybody that is like that few years around in their late 30s, maybe early 40s right now experienced Pogs. The craziness that it was, little cardboard pieces of a circle that you would just. I mean, yeah, it makes no sense. But before we get into your first Vegas trip, I want to bring on Bethany from Bougie Miles because she's here waiting patiently, and I was supposed to bring her on before you started, and then I forgot about that. But thank you, Eric. But welcome, Bethany. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you
How
for
you doing?
having me. Oh my God. I did not realize that there was going to be this much going.
We got the walk-in closet going.
Yeah, there's like everything. Sorry. Yeah,
That's
so
all right.
I'm
It looks
excited
great.
to be here.
It looks
Congratulations on 20K subscribers. That's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, yeah. Thanks to everybody. I mean, this is exciting. We're excited to have you here. For people who don't know Bethany, you should follow her on Twitter and read her website, and also subscribe to her YouTube channel. She started. I discovered her. I like to just claim that I discovered her, even though I really didn't. I really didn't.
You really did.
Well, we got hired at the same time, which is kind of funny.
Yeah. So a few years ago, I
Amazing.
I did the website by myself, and then I brought on one other person, DDG, who does all of our deals on the website. And then I was looking, to expand some more, and so I was going to hire one other person, and I got close to 40 applications, and I interviewed 8 or 10 people, and at the end I had these 2 people left, and I couldn't decide between them. I had Mark and I had Bethany, and I couldn't do it. And I said, okay, well, on one hand, Mark gives me this, and on the other hand, Bethany gives me that. And ultimately, I said, well, you know what? You just hire both of them. And that's what I did. And that was a good decision. Yes. And then Bethany, of course, went on her own to do Bougie Miles, which has grown and has done tremendously well. And she's nice enough to come back and humor us here, Mark, to spend a few minutes with us. But it's been a great journey with her and with you. The
funny thing is, Cal, like my first night, I always go really hard the first night. usually don't sleep, so I don't even go to, like, my buddies will go with me and they'll wake up and be like, oh, his bed hasn't been touched, type of thing. So I get a room and then I don't even use it the first night. So that is legit a way I could save money if I wasn't getting comped. I shouldn't get a room the first night. Just check my luggage and pick it up the next day and go check.
Like in New Orleans last year, where I arrive in New Orleans for our meetup that we're supposed to have, and Mark spent the whole night at the tables. And,
Bethany left at like 4 a.m. and she didn't make me go to bed.
I left at 5:30. I left at 5:30.
Yeah, it was pretty. And then Mark picked up a new friend, and we had a good time. So
I picked up a random guy that ended up sleeping on my couch. That he was from Michigan, so we kind of he ended up hanging out all day, and then he was not in the position to drive home. So I was like, I got a couch, so there you go. Be safe.
He showed us the carousel bar, which was really cool. So. The carousel bar.
He did know a lot of good stuff. That was great.
Yeah, it was. So you never know who Mark's gonna randomly pick up in a casino on that first night. As far as friends,
I do make friends. I like making friends.
Yeah. No, exactly. Like people just gravitate towards you, and that's pretty incredible. So your first trip to Vegas, what was that? I mean, how insane were you on your first? I can't imagine 20-something-year-old Mark.
Well, it was with my wife, so it wasn't super. It wasn't super crazy, but yeah. So we ended up. It starts at a Bass Pro Shops, Cabela's type of situation where we're walking through a store and they're doing the timeshare thing, Blue Green Vacations. Like, hey, do you want to go to Vegas? And I was like, yeah, I've been talking about going to Vegas for years. Like for $199, you can come out. So I got suckered into the timeshare situation. Did that. We got set up at Circus, and this was before they remodeled the room, so it was very 1980s Holiday Inn with the dark wood headboards and just not the greatest scene.
The comforters that haven't been changed in 2 years with all the stains
comforters.
And
stuff. But we ended up having a great time, and the funny thing is, we walk in, and as we're going to check in, somebody's like, "Hey, do you want some free show tickets?" And I'm like, sure, we're 23. We don't know any better. Sure. And he's like, all you got to do is, pay $40. We give it to you back later after you go and tour this other property. So I got suckered into a second timeshare presentation right off the bat. We get on the bus. We check in. We get on the bus to go because I'm like, well, let's get this out of the way. And we didn't really know exactly what was going on because we were that naive. We show up and they're like, all right, so now you have to be for a 2-hour presentation. And I was like, no, we just got here. I don't want to, can we do this quicker? I just want to walk around and then leave. And they're like, no, you have to stay at least 2 hours. So I was like, well, I'm going to get back on the bus and go back. So we rode on the empty bus back with the bus driver back to Circus. And they're like, well, you're going to lose your $40 if you don't do the thing. I was like, well, that's like a hand of blackjack. So cool. We'll call it a loss. So I started off bad. All right. So we rode a bus for 40 minutes back and forth, and then never went back and did the thing. So yeah, I don't know. That was our first.
At least
trip.
You can claim that you've stayed at Circus, and I haven't. That's one of the properties that I haven't stayed at yet, and I'm not looking forward to the day that I do it. As I get, it's going to probably be one of the last.
I mean, they got Dick's Last Resort, which is always a little bit fun. The food's terrible and overpriced, but it's fun.
Well, that's at Excalibur.
Oh, not Circus. We stayed at Excalibur. I don't know why I said Circus. Sorry. So
I've stayed at Excalibur. I've stayed at Excalibur.
Same thing. Sorry. But no, one of the nights we ended up staying in we just hung out in the bar that was in the the center of the casino, and they had a live band that was kind of a cover band / comedy show type of thing. They did funny stuff while they were singing. So we actually had a really good time there. But yeah, I haven't been back, so that tells you what I thought about it overall.
All right, so you're crazy about sports, and how is everybody hit that like button for us. I know people get annoyed I say that in a video. I don't say it that often in the videos anymore, but
but if you haven't subscribed, please do. That's very big for us. Just takes a click, so we do appreciate it if you are subscribed. But so I like sports,
right?
Yeah, so sports was a big draw. After that first trip, we ended up doing a guys trip for March Madness. We always came out for the first weekend of March Madness, which is probably the craziest weekend in Vegas, I think. Super Bowl's big, but I feel like March Madness is a little bit crazier. and college basketball is my favorite sport. So we came out, for like 4 or 5 straight years, first weekend all the time. A group of guys. It started off with like 6 guys, and then went to 5 guys, then 4 guys. So it got smaller and smaller as people got married and had kids. But that was the big draw. And sports betting was only in Vegas at that time, or in Nevada. So that was a big thing. Now it's in Michigan. It's in 20 some states or whatever. So that's not really the draw for me anymore, but it was. So that's kind of what started the love for Vegas, and we would hop around and have a great time and watch all the games. We would just sit at the bar all day, betting, watching games. It was great.
That's interesting. So you kind of substituted your love. It's crazy how the sports was there early on, and now you can still scratch that itch at home. You can pretty much bet whatever you want at home. And
yeah, I can bet on my phone sitting at home now.
All right. Now, everybody knows that you love Fremont Street. We know that you are a Circa fanboy. So that was like the culmination of your love for Fremont Street with a big Detroit-themed casino with giant television screens showing sports 24/7. If you could have envisioned, if you could have manifested a casino into this world, dreamt it up and created it, I think Circa would be that casino. You and Derek Stevens are on the same wavelength when it comes. Yeah,
well, he's from Michigan, so we gotta love it. And I knew about Derek Stevens before Circa, and I always thought it was interesting because he would always go to, because he owned Golden Gate and stuff. And Golden Gate is actually my favorite place or it used to be my favorite place to play blackjack. And that was when Fremont Street was kind of under the radar. They had dancing girls, when not a lot of people had dancing girls. But the cool thing was, the dealers were the dancers, so they would rotate around, and that was always kind of fun. And I read about him and how he would go to the Golden Nugget to make a bet every year for March Madness, where he would get paid out $1 million if he won. And he would either bet on Michigan or Michigan State, depending on whoever had the best team that year. Michigan State hasn't won since 2000. Michigan hasn't won since '89. So he's been just throwing away money. But I always found that kind of interesting. And I loved Fremont back then. Especially when you wake up in the morning and it's empty and vacant, and you can just walk around. It was really peaceful, which is kind of crazy for Vegas. When you're on the Strip, you never find that. But on Fremont, you would. And I would go to Fitzgerald's for McDonald's breakfast and stuff like that. And at night, it was always fun. There's a scene and wild people watching, but it wasn't wall-to-wall people like it is now. So Golden Nugget was a place we stayed often, and I would always go gamble at Golden Gate. So, yeah, I fell in love with Fremont right away.
I'm trolling you in the banner. Find all of our Vegas post videos and podcasts at circafanboy.com. So there you go. That's where you got to go.
It's true.
It redirects to MtM Vegas.
Shawn likes to buy random website, so he bought
just for moments like this, right? I mean, it's all worth it. It just gives me the little bit of joy that I can do that.
Oh, Adam's here a little bit early. He said, "No, I've trademarked fanboy. You can't use it."
All right, $10. That's a deal. I'll pay. I'll gladly pay every time I mention it. It's worth the royalty fee.
I loved his thing on Twitter, because Travel Fanboy's been in the Vegas scene for a long time, and he's coming on later. And I loved when we announced the show and everything, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go on with them. They've been stealing all my all my people since they launched." I thought it was hilarious. Adam has a really great sense of humor. Very sarcastic, but that's right up my alley. Very sarcastic, which...
Yeah. And when he comes on later in the show, we're going to talk what's the best side of the Strip, East versus West. And I got that idea because that was a tweet I don't know, was it a year ago? It was a long time ago. And I sent the tweet to Mark and I was like, we should do this sometime. And then, of course, with him, because I didn't want to take his idea and just do it ourselves. And thankfully he agreed. So we kind of put it in our back pocket for another time. We saved it for this show and wanted to make sure he joined us. But it's a fun topic, and I know with Bethany and with you, it's going to be quite interesting to see your takes on which side of the Strip is better and why. I think
I already know what Bethany's going to
pick. Well, we know what it's not even a side, it's a block of the Strip.
When your website's Bougie Miles, I think we know where you're going to go.
There's only 3 casinos.
Yeah, so... But we'll get to that. We'll get to that a little bit later. So I mean, your sports betting is good. Fremont, you love it. But why are you coming to Vegas now? How do you do Vegas these days?
Party, right? Vegas is still, Vegas and New Orleans are kind of my go-to for, just to get away, have fun, let loose type of thing, because I love that they, open carry everywhere you go, 24/7, just kind of like never shuts down really. Great food, always amazing hotels, which I think Vegas kind of like warps your mentality about hotels a little bit, because you're staying in these amazing properties for like $100-$200 sometimes, and you can get like, I know we shared previously at the Golden Nugget, I had a 2-story suite with a spiral staircase. I paid $250 for that room because it was on special that day, which is insane. Then you go somewhere else that's $200 in New York City, and it's like it's smaller than Bethany's closet. So I just love the whole scene. I just enjoy it. It's nonstop. Whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do it, you can do it, and that's rare to find.
Yeah, I think to your point, you don't get to see hotels that have 3 or 4 or 5,000 rooms. Other places, even the quality these days of the hotels, even on like the low and mid tiers, is out of control. You can get even with resort fees, $60-$70 a night, like midweek, you can get a really solid room that would cost you a lot elsewhere. So it's like a spectacle that's so different than anywhere else. And like you have to judge hotels like Vegas hotels and then everything that's non-Vegas. You can't really compare them to each other, or that's how I have to do it, Because I could even stay in a Hyatt someplace. I stayed in some Hyatts on the East Coast last week that were probably not as nice as the new rooms at the Flamingo, I mean, that's the truth. So it kind of like warps your
Shawn
mentality.
is hashtag Hyatt fanboy.
And there you go. Yeah, of course I am. But yeah, I mean, your story is interesting, and that's why it's so fun to do a show with you, because I sort of kind of grew up here, and I've lived here a long, long time, and so my perspective on everything is different. And so I enjoy not only hearing your perspective, sometimes we clash on stuff. Like, come on, saying beer is the best thing about Main Street Station. Let me get back on my, oh my God, you're gonna double down on that, huh? You're gonna double down on that.
Don't get the Parmesan garlic fries, they're not good. Okay. That's the other thing I'll say about it.
I could, when I brought him up to the snooker table on the second floor, I could hear his eyes rolling because he wasn't impressed. He wasn't impressed with it, no. But he does have a different way of looking at it and a different way of experiencing it, and that's what's cool, I don't want to just talk to somebody who does exactly the same things I do or thinks exactly the same way I do, and I think sort of why we appreciate each other.
And Bethany does it completely different than both of us, so I think that's why. I mean, are we announcing the show now? Am I putting the cart before the horse? I don't know.
Yeah, no, you can announce the show. Announce the show.
Okay.
So we did promise 2 news shows, right? So we have the MtM Vegas podcast coming next week, and then we're gonna be doing a monthly show with Bethany, right, Mark? Why don't you? I don't want to step on your toes there, so go for it.
No toes. My toes are small. So we're gonna be doing a monthly happy hour. It's gonna be on Wednesday. Second Wednesday of the month is what we're shooting for, but it might, depending on our travel patterns and everything, it might be adjusted. But it's gonna be Wednesday evenings. Just a live stream. Fun chat Vegas. Hopefully one of us, well, Shawn's been there, but me and Bethany have a recent trip to talk about and that type of thing, and just recent news, joke about it, tell stories, have drinks, have fun. So we're gonna be doing that once a month. I like the name Hump Day Happy Hour, so I think that's what it should be.
Obviously, I love that. So
all right. All right, well, it's the MtM Vegas Hump Day Happy Hour.
Yes.
Sorry, I ignore the fact that Hump Day is not there because you said it too late.
Bethany, I brought up Charlotte very early on when we started doing MtM Vegas because, Charlotte O'Connor. So Charlotte, my daughter's name, Connor, my son's name. I think and my last name starts with an O, so it's like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Charlotte's awesome, like on Twitter, everywhere. Like, thanks for so much for the support, Charlotte. It's been awesome, all the commenting and tweeting and all of that stuff, and we appreciate you guys on social media. You can follow Miles to Memories, and that's our main account for the website and everything else. And then Mark is at Detroit Mark, and I'll get these up in a minute. But at Detroit, I'll get our Twitters up in a minute, so I'm not even going to say it. But
they'll be scrolling.
Yes, I'm a madman with my scrolling tools. It just but there you go. But we'll get it all figured out there. But yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit. Yeah, so going back to the happy hour, the 14th, it'll be at 5 o'clock, just like this, right? So the 14th of July will be our
8
first
o'clock
one.
for me and Bethany, but yes.
Yes. Well, everything's
Yes,
Vegas
8 o'clock.
time, right? If it's not, what happens in Vegas is all that matters.
There is no time of it. That's why they get you. Oh, I should tell a story. I took my dad there once, and we stayed at Hooters back when it was Hooters, and he's like, I'll pay for the flights, you pay for the room. I was like, done, because I knew I'd probably get him comped. But it was funny because he leaves at night, he goes to bed, and he comes in the next morning, and he opens the door to enter the casino, and he just hears me yelling. And he's like, as soon as I opened the doors, I knew you didn't go to bed. Like, I knew I could hear you. I walk over, and he's like, let's go to breakfast. You need to get some food in your stomach. I'm like, I got my food right here. So, yeah, that was the last time my dad went with me. We didn't go to NOLA though, so that's good. But yeah, I haven't been able to get him back to Vegas. Hopefully soon.
Yeah, he's got to, I mean, does he generally like let loose with you guys when you're traveling? I mean, is it,
yeah, I
are you
mean,
too much for him, or is he like on the same wavelength with you?
Well, he's not as energetic, but he knows what the deal is, and he's not as big. He's not as big into gambling. He'll gamble, he'll sit and play a little bit of blackjack. He'll watch me play craps or whatever, but he's not a huge gambler. But he'll sit, hang out, and drink beers and whatever. But he was at he was at the first March Madness trip we went on. And then we did this follow-up trip, and then that was I haven't been able to drag him back there since.
All right, nice. So I guess I should talk about my origin story, because people want to know that, other than me me living here. And I guess if people have watched the Tropicana video on the channel, they probably know that that's sort of where my heart lies from when I was a kid. I grew up in Southern California, so I lived there till I was 11, but my family only came to Las Vegas on vacation. Like, my parents, for some reason, it wasn't like, let's go to the Grand Canyon, let's go to San Francisco, let's go to these. No, let's go to Las Vegas. My dad had a $9 comp offer, or a $9 room offer, or comp offer from the Trop or whatever. So that's where I grew up. Although my first trip was actually, we stayed at the Hilton, the Las Vegas Hilton. And my most memorable part of that trip is that my brothers got caught throwing ice cubes out of like the window on the 20th story, and the police almost came and arrested me at like 6 years old, and thus started my my Vegas adventures of getting in tons of trouble. So yeah, I mean, have you ever thrown ice out of a 20-story window at a hotel in Las Vegas?
Well, you got to tell your. I don't know if you ever told where you got detained for playing slots at 5. Did we ever do that story?
I mean, I think I told it in the Tropicana video maybe a little bit, but yeah, so after I think getting banned from Hilton, I don't know, I don't think that actually happened, but we never stayed at the Hilton after my brothers got caught throwing ice out of the window, so I don't know if that's a coincidence or...
what I used to do? Like, when we go on beach vacation and stuff, I'd bring the parachute army men, and if we had a high balcony, I'd throw those off and watch it, like, fly away.
Making little voices as they go down? No.
Yeah.
All right, so we moved to the Tropicana, and then my brothers were just a lot of trouble, man. I mean, I was younger. They're like 4 and 6 years older than I am. So I was, let's say, 6, 7, 8 years old, and they were a little bit older. And we just loved to like sneak into the casino and play. And there was this area, it's still there at the Tropicana. They've built it's near where the theater is, and there's a bar there, but they used to have machines over there. And we discovered that security would only make rounds there every 20 minutes or so, and they weren't good about responding to stuff, so you could get away with gambling a little bit. And so we did that for like years, I think, and then, or every trip we did it. And then one time I was there with my brother, who's 6 years older, so I was probably 6 or 7 years old. He's 13 or something. And all of a sudden I put a couple nickels in the slot, and then all of a sudden I just feel this like tall presence behind me looming over me, and it was a security guard, and he grabbed my arm, and he cashed out whatever was in the machine, the nickels. And then he dragged me down into the bowels of the Tropicana, into the security room with my brother. And I just remember like going through all these corridors and like just being so scared. But all they did was call our parents and find them in the casino, I guess, and then warned us not to do it. But I don't know. I don't think that stopped us. I mean, it was innocent, right? I mean, who doesn't want to play a little nickel slots, you know?
That was back in the ching, 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 ching days, though. How are you going to cash it out? Like you couldn't quick go to a machine and feed the voucher in and get paid. Like,
No, I mean you would put in like $1. It was yeah, kids, we didn't have money, and so yeah, we did that. We also at the Tropicana back in the day, my brothers discovered where you turned on the water slide. So they would turn the water slide off at like 6 o'clock at night when the pool would close, right? And then about 9 o'clock at night, my brothers would roll around, and they had no cameras out there watching the water slide, and they would only have a security guard walk it once an hour. And for years, they never changed this. And so they would wait till like right after the security guard left, climb down into this like control room below the surface of the thing, turn on the water slide, and then play like for an hour, like and the crazy thing is like by the end of the hour, there would be like 40 kids out there on the water slide. Like just kids would just like hear about it or everybody. And then, so they could never tell who did it because there'd just be 40 people. So security would come and just tell everybody to get off, and nobody ever got caught. And that was it. They
Wait,
did
so
that
was anybody there to
years.
like obfuscate what was going on, or were you guys just like nobody was like watching? Or
Oh yeah. No, my parents just they just pretty much just dropped us off, and like I said, my brother was almost 7 years older than I was, so he's a teenager or maybe just before a teenager during a lot of this, but he was a big troublemaker, and yeah, it just seemed like they were. I just so many days on my own, or we'd go to Wet and Wild all day, or I remember we walked. I remember there a time when I had to be 8 or 9 years old, where my brothers and I walked the strip like around 10, 11 midnight, all the way from Tropicana, all the way up to like around Circus, like all the way up to Sarah. We were in the middle of the night, and I remember we tried to eat at Denny's over there, and they wouldn't let us in because we were kids, and they're just like, you can't come in here. It's like 2 in the morning. Get away from
I had
here.
that happen. Like, they wouldn't let me into a place because it was just me and a buddy, so we had to stand outside and wait for my mom to come pick us up. Do you remember the trick back when there was payphones and you were a kid that you would call collect, and then when they say your name, you're like, Mom, pick me up.
Yeah.
You guys ever do that?
Yeah, we did that at the bowling alley. Yep, we used to be at the bowling alley at the time, and yep, yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. So I moved to Vegas when I was 11 years old, and sort of grew up here. And I don't know, I don't gamble much today. I gambled when I was younger, and then kind of realized that that wasn't for me. And so but I always loved casinos, and I loved the casino culture, and I loved the history, and I really loved watching like the city change. And I guess moving here in the early 90s was a good time because that's sort of where you had the explosion of all these themed casinos. You had Luxor, MGM Grand, Treasure Island, New York, Monte Carlo, all those hotels that were built in the 90s. It was like this boom of new casinos, and I guess it was just watching the city change, and then I just really fell in love with the culture of it. And then as I traveled more around the world, like to places like Macau, like I just really fell in love with casino culture. And so it's weird that I'm somebody who doesn't gamble much, but I love casinos, and I feel incredibly at home in casinos. And like Macau is one of my favorite places in the world, and yet I've never placed a bet there. And that's just sort of the strangeness of it. And that's why kind of in the video sometimes I get a little nostalgic about history and stuff.
I'd get kicked out of Macau in like 3
Oh,
minutes.
absolutely. Yeah. I don't think at least if you had anything different.
Done in like 2 minutes. They would give you a look, and that would be the end of it.
I'm glad that we recorded the MtM Vegas a little bit early because we had some schedule issues. Normally we record on Wednesday and we recorded on Tuesday, and then I had a Detroit Miles and Points meetup Tuesday night, and then ended up going to MGM Detroit, and I lost my voice for like 3 days. I had Vegas voice for a while, so I'm glad we did it early last week.
Oh yeah.
Dave asked what I'm drinking. Local beer, Griffin Claw Brewery. It's called Mr. Blue Sky. It's kind of a wheat summer type of beer, like a Blue Moon or Oberon type of thing. So good beer.
So Bethany, I mean, you've been to Macau, right? Because I nerd out about Macau. I've been there, I think 5 times now, maybe 4 times. I don't want to lie. It could be 4, it could be 5. I believe it's 5 though. Yeah, that's how. Well, because I love Hong Kong. I've been in Hong Kong, pretty much every year, and it's really close. But I know you went to Macau for the first time. Like, how? Just while we're on that topic, how was that different? Like, how did it feel different than Vegas? And like, what did you like it? How was it?
Okay, so I love Hong Kong, and I love casinos, but I did not enjoy Macau. For a few reasons. Number one, it's definitely a place I could see you enjoying because you're not like big on gambling or drinking. those are like the two reasons that I go anywhere. So for me, being in Macau and not being able to get a drink at a table was like not fun at all. And then not being able to like react to wins and stuff also kind of sucked. I loved like the
Boo.
So you were
food,
just
like,
quiet, like you won the money, and you're just like a serious face.
yeah,
And
it's
you
like
don't, yeah.
it's like, okay, great, I won. Because like if you look around, nobody's even reacting, or like maybe there's like a small smile, you know. So you just have to like squirrel your chips away and just wait till later, you know.
President Biden would
Really,
be. It's
We need
true.
a
It's actually
free
true.
Mark campaign. Free Mark. Let him out.
He's met you. I can tell he's met you because he's seen you in a casino.
Oh yeah, the first time I was in a casino with Shawn, he was like, he had to like stand back 3-4 feet. He's like, I don't know this guy. I don't know who this
But
guy
I like
is.
I like to play like the straight man to your crazy. So I play like it bothers me. I do enjoy it. I mean, there are a couple times like where you've gotten a little crazy for me, but I know that I know you're harmless. The pit bosses don't always know you're harmless, but I know you're harmless.
Only one.
Yes,
only
love
one.
I
actually do
only
enjoy
one
watching him
boss
play
has
blackjack.
Never liked me, and Shawn brings it up every single time we talk about this.
No, but no,
He's
I'm
like,
not saying
that
that. But
one
you,
pit boss.
no. There are pit bosses that love you, but you do like you make them have to. They focus on you. I've just noticed that. I'm not saying
That's
it's
the
bad.
key.
No, absolutely.
That's the
No,
key.
good, good stuff.
No, and
Good stuff.
okay, my one gambling tip is always ask when the pit boss comes around, what is my rate? Because they always underrate you. So you always want to, just one, be friendly with them, talk to them, involve them in your gambling. I always like high five pit bosses. I say, come on, hold my fist bump while, I'm doing this double down if they're in the area and stuff, because if they like you, they're going to, rate you, give you a little bit of bump and rate. And the other thing is, if you're tipping your dealer and when if the pit boss hasn't been around a while and, your bets are up there and they're like, oh, your rate is $75, you'd be like, oh, well, I've been, more like 150 most of the time. And they'll look at the dealer and the dealer will say, yeah, that's where it's at because you've been tipping them. So even if you increase it a little bit, they'll agree with you because they want to keep those tips rolling. So a couple little tips.
All right, so Bethany, we talked about my story, but that's sort of boring. I love history, I love the Vegas culture, but you have a story of your own, and we want to hear it. No, I know, but people hear me talk all the time. But we want to hear your story because you have your own unique take on Vegas and history on Vegas, and where does it all start for you with your love of casinos in Las Vegas?
Yeah, so I love to gamble. I think I discovered that when I was like 5 with scratch offs. My parents used to let me scratch them, and they created a monster.
All of our parents played a big role in our gambling.
I guess, 100%. One way or another, right?
Yep. Like, yeah, your parents took you. Mine bought me scratch offs. And I also I used to love to play poker. So when poker was like really big, when like Moneymaker won the World Series, that was like, I was probably like 17 or 18. No, I was a little older. We started going to Atlantic City when the Borgata first opened. And I would go with a fake ID that said Dina Love. She looked just like me.
You should have used McLovin. Come on.
Yeah, I was going to say you were the original McLovin.
My best friend found it on the floor. Like, she was like, this looks just like Bethany. So it was my fake ID for like 4 years. And yeah, so we started going to Borgata when it first opened because it was like the nicest place ever. Which is to your point about like the casinos being so much nicer than regular hotels. We used to pay like $200 and it was like a Four Seasons, super nice rooms. And yeah, and I would go and gamble underage because where else can you do that? And they have a really nice poker room, and that's just sort of how I got into it. That I love scotch and I love to like play blackjack. I can count cards. I do like basic strategy, all that fun stuff. And I don't know, it was just like a fun thing. And we started going probably like every other weekend for a while. And I actually didn't go to Vegas until my like late 20s even. So we were like satisfied with Borgata.
When was the last time you were down in AC?
I was gonna say Scotch. Johnny Walker Blue and Coke, right? Right, Sean?
Yeah, so funny.
I mean, if you got to do it, I mean, if you're trying to just make good old Johnny Walker roll over in his grave, I guess.
Should we tell that story real quick?
Well, I was asking
Johnny
Bethany
Walker
when the
and
last time she was in
SpaghettiOs?
Atlantic
okay.
City was.
Okay, go.
Last time I was in AC was like 10 months ago. So it's been a while. I go to Vegas way more now than I go to AC.
Yeah, I was just there this week. That's Mark. I was trying to transition into telling my story.
Oh, you want to tell your story, not my story.
Not really a story. I want to hear your story.
It's the Sean show. Let's let Sean talk.
Yeah, let's talk. No, actually, I was just gonna say like how impressed I was with Hard Rock, like the old Taj Mahal, with what they did with that property.
It is a nice property.
It is. I mean, I'm not a fan of Atlantic City. Off of the casinos are okay, but it doesn't do much for me outside of that. But I was really impressed with the Hard Rock. I visited Taj Mahal like a month before it closed. Just because what they did with the property, it was really nice. It had a good vibe. I know it's not maybe your thing, but and by the way, it's so busy in Atlantic City, wall to wall people on Sunday night, everywhere. So it's kind of like Vegas was. But anyway,
I really wanted to love Atlantic City, because we went there as kids in Jersey. We'd just go to the beach or whatever, and you think like Atlantic City, they have the casinos, they have oceanfront. They have a boardwalk. It should be amazing, and the
Showboat is a travesty there. They took out the casino and they put an arcade in, and then part of it's just like empty casino floor, and then some of it's covered up with like curtains, and it was like, but they have the old Riviera sign. They took the neon from Riviera and put it inside the Showboat in Atlantic City. I think it's the original. It looked like it. I haven't verified that, but so yeah, there's some nerdy stuff there. But yeah, Atlantic City, Borgata is really nice. I stayed at Harrah's. In their new waterfront tower that they built to like combat Borgata, and what a sad excuse of a tower that thing was. Yeah. Oh my god, it was like stuck. It was built in 2008, and it looked like it was like a room from the 1990s.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't understand that. It was a brand, but Borgata I've stayed at before, and I stayed at Caesars, which wasn't bad in their kind of their waterfront tower there, which was fairly nice. And yeah, good to see Atlantic City. All right, Mark, tell your story.
Oh, hold on. Bethany, Chris was asking, what's your favorite scotch?
Oh, God. Pig's Nose. It's like a cheap blend that's amazing. But I also just love Johnny Walker Black. I've gotten used to it. They serve it at every casino. So, I drink a lot of it. Like, a lot.
Nothing wrong with Black Label.
No.
Red Label is kind of like swill, but I'm not a fan of the Red Label. But Black Label is
I'm
good.
with you. Yeah.
Mark will mix anything, including Blue Label or whatever he can with Coke.
No, I had a chance to get Johnny Walker Blue for free, and I knew it was Sean's favorite, so I was like, I gotta try it. But I'm not a Scotch person. I don't like the smokiness of it. I prefer whiskey. Like Jameson, the smoothness of that, I'll drink that. But Scotch just isn't my thing. So, but I'm like, Sean loves it, so I got to try it. And they bring it out.
He's got to try it just so he can trash it. By the way, this is what he said. Sean likes it, so I got to try it just so I can trash it.
And I knew I wouldn't like.
Let's be clear about this.
So I get it with Coke, and I'm flying, first class. And the flight attendant comes out, and I was like, "Oh, with Coke." And she looks at me like I murdered somebody, and she's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yes, I don't really like it. I just got to try it." And then I was like, "Sean, I don't like it." He's like, "You're just saying that because I like it."
Once I flew back from Hong Kong, I was on Cathay First, and I was like really sick. I had caught this really bad cold, and I was just deathly ill. Like I didn't want to drink anything, but I still loved it so much. I got on the plane, and I'm like, I got to have at least one shot of this, just because I can't go this whole flight and do it. And then I did that, and then just drank water the rest of the time. But yeah, Johnny Walker Blue is good stuff, and I think you can get it like Cosmo, like at the Chandelier Bar. I think if you get like 3 tickets, you can, you play at the like video poker. You get every 15 minutes, or you get a ticket, and then you can get with
so
3
you
of those
can like
tickets.
trade up. So
yeah, you can combine them together.
I did not know that, but I don't like blue. It's too smoky for me.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste.
Smoky.
Yeah.
Very smoky.
One thing I find crazy is like you go for March Madness or Super Bowl or big gambling like sports betting events, and you'll go there and you'll bet like, you know, like we would pool all our money and we'd be like, all right, I'm gonna bet all these games. We'd agree on all the games. Everybody would throw in $250. So I'd go up there and bet like $1,000 combined on all these games for the day, and they'd give me like 4 drink tickets, and I was like, "This is it?" And they're like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, you know, that's what we're doing." And then you go back in the summer and you bet $20 on a baseball game, and they'll give you 4 drink tickets, and I'm like, "How does this make sense?" Like, I know it's a busy weekend, but shouldn't it be about the same whenever? So if you're in there in the summer, just throw you know, a couple bucks on a baseball game, basketball game, and just say, "Oh, can I get a couple more drink tickets?" And they just give them away, which, you know, I never understood, but that's a way to get a couple beer roadies, as we call them. Go throw $10 on a sports bet and then get, you know, 3 free beers and walk away.
So Bethany, we were talking about Cosmo. Let's talk about your obsession with Cosmo before we get in the East-West. So we got to kind of set this whole thing up. Well, actually, I guess you have an equal obsession with Cosmo and then Aria Sky Suites. Could we maybe characterize that as the thing? But that's really where you love to stay in that area, right?
Yeah, for me, it's like 2 places. And then every once in a while, I want to stay at Bellagio just to like wake up there. Like if I go late.
I was going to make that joke. That's why I shared it, because I was going to be like, oh, Shawn, back in 2012, COVID.
That's amazing. Yeah, so I love the wraparound terrace suite at Cosmo. It's like 1,400 square feet. It's the most beautiful room you've ever seen in your entire life. But the thing is that the housekeeping is the same as the rest of the hotel. So like the service is just not there.
Can I stop you and just tell the story about the Holiday Inn in Chicago?
Yeah, please. Oh God. Yeah.
So we have this conference every year in our travel community in Chicago. And I'm sorry, Bethany, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I think that this is a good setup for what you're about to talk about. And so this was like 2 years ago, and it's a Holiday Inn, and that's where our conference is at. And I'm sitting down in the lobby, and Bethany comes to check in, and she checks in, and then she sort of like asks the guy checking her in, like, do you have any, like a bellman? Is there anybody to take my bags to the room?
And it's not even Chicago proper. It's like,
this is Elk Grove. Yeah. Yeah, this isn't the fanciest Holiday Inn. It's just like one of those rinky-dink Holiday Inns. And the guy kind of looks at her, and then, you know, she makes it kind of, and he agrees. So he goes and grabs her bags, and he's kind of confused. And then, you know, he helps her. He takes it. He took her bags up to her room and did that. And I asked her if she got the St. Regis butler service where he unpacked, but he didn't. He refused to unpack apparently. But, you know, you can't get everything. But that's the kind of hotels that you proudly love to stay in, is ones where they're going to provide an exceptional level of service, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, quite honestly.
Okay, but here's the thing though. So like bell service, that's like, isn't that about as basic as it gets?
Not in a Holiday Inn.
Hotel, motel, Holiday Inn.
I had a lot of stuff and I couldn't carry it myself. And it just so happened, like fortuitously, that Shawn happened to be like sitting 6 feet behind me. He should have videotaped it.
I didn't video. I do have pictures. I do have pictures. Yes. The look on the guy's face was priceless.
Yeah. Well, he looked at me like I had 10 heads. Like, he was like, "What do you want?" I was like, "I need somebody to help me to my room."
And I'm like in tears by now. I'm just like trying not to make noise, but I'm like cracking up. And I love
that picture.
And by the way, totally polite. Like you took care of him and all that. This is not. You were like incredibly polite. He volunteered to do it. It wasn't like you did anything. I want to be very clear about that. But you do love your finer things in life, and there's, you know, and you embrace that.
Oh yeah, I'm like the most polite person you'll ever meet in your life. Please, thank you so much, blah blah blah. But I love a high quality of service. So yeah, back to Cosmo. It's sort of a similar thing, right? So they have these beautiful rooms. They're incredible. I think I did a video where I was like walking, and the terrace never ends because it's a corner and the views are stunning. It's just amazing. Here's the thing though, you have like the regular housekeeping service, like no turn down. I don't need a turn down service, but I do like for somebody to come and put water in the room and stuff like that. because I tend to drink a lot of them. So that's sort of one thing. Also, don't forget, it's 1,400 square feet. So there's 2 bathrooms. So if you only have one housekeeper and it's like the end of the day because you're at the end, they're not doing a very good job. On the other hand, you have the Sky Suites next door, which is like the epitome of exclusive, like there's a separate entrance, there's a separate pool, there's basically all you have to do is walk around with your key that says Sky Suites, and like they treat you like royalty, which
like
is
a
kind
rainbow
of amazing.
opens up and little elves come and yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, like at the pool, they like come over to you with like sunscreen, and you're like, this is what I needed. But the room is not as nice, and it's probably at least double the price. So yeah, I flip flop between the two, but I love you get 2 housekeeping services a day, and then after the second one, a manager comes to check the second one's work. I love that.
So how you never want to go up to try Wynn in their tower suites to see if it compares?
I do, but I don't. So the first and last time I stayed up there, we stayed at Venetian, and I just felt like it was so far of a walk to get everywhere I want to go. And I don't like Ubers because I get car sick. So I cannot wait for the Tesla thing that you guys covered.
You're the only
really
it's in a car though. It's
incoming
in the car.
fire. Incoming fire. Oh my god.
It's just a car in a tunnel. But
I'm still defending comments myself against comments on that video. People coming at me like I don't know how to explain it, but I was skeptical and I saw it in person and I've ridden it twice and I thought it was cool. I thought it worked well. I don't know how to say it.
I think it's great. Wait, what was the problem with it?
There's lots of people who hate it because it's Elon Musk's thing, and then they think that we should have built a subway, but this only cost $50 million. I know only $50 million, but a subway would have cost $500 million or more. Yeah, Tesla fanboy. There we go. We're just racking up our fanboy. I mean, it's $10 every charge. Adam's going to charge me $10 every time we use the word fanboy. So let's stop it. All right.
You're in the hole.
Yeah, Ian got a Tesla ride. He's got a ride in the. Oh, you did too. You and Rick did too, didn't you, Mark? But
yeah, but he's just saying like a Tesla ride's better than getting like a Toyota Camry or whatever from the airport. So I agree.
Yeah.
Like I hope I 100% hope it works to get traffic off the strip, and it's cool. I wish the tunnels did the colored lights all the time. That's kind of sad that it's only for special events, but I think it'll be cool, be quicker, help with traffic. So I really do hope it works. I'm skeptical, but hopeful.
Yeah, and like people keep thinking that you can't get out of the cars. You can get out of the cars. That's all I'm going to say is the doors. There's enough room for the door to open, and you can get out.
Where's the ladders to get out of the tunnel?
Well, you're never more than a quarter of a mile, so you're about a 4-minute walk.
Flash floods happen a lot in Vegas, man.
Yeah, like they didn't think. That's what I love. Like they didn't. Like we don't have fire codes or flood codes or building codes.
The link did not think about flash floods because every time the parking lot becomes a pool.
Well, that was because all that stuff was built in the 70s before anything else. But nowadays, actually, I mean, Vegas has done really good with flood stuff. But yeah, like they figured all this stuff out. I'm not an expert on it, but I'm confident enough when I'm down there that we're not going to get a flash flood, a fire, a wave of locusts, or any other natural disasters coming upon us. And it's cool. And I think everybody should try to get down there to ride it. Although they were. Like sometimes they're asking for convention badges, so I don't know if you can just go there and ride it or not. But I rode it on the convention day like 4 times, and they only asked me once for my badge. So I don't know. But any of the locals should get down there.
Wait, you need a badge?
Well, it's just right now. It's just for the convention center.
Don't get Shawn going.
It's sort of my thing. Get me going.
True.
Yeah. I can get Mark going about some stuff too, but. We're not gonna do that today.
You need to talk about Detroit. That's it. That's the only thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I'm not gonna. I like Detroit though. That's the thing. I really enjoyed the one day I spent in Detroit in my life. Although I do like Ann Arbor too, which I know is totally gonna trigger.
He's coming.
I think Ann Arbor is like. I think Ann Arbor is one of the nicest cities in all of the country. Yeah. I mean, they got the best football team, best college. They got Zingerman's Deli.
Oh, which I will, Zingerman's, if you go to Circa Fanboy, #, sorry, Adam, we owe you $10 more. the Saginaw, what is it called? Is it called Saginaw Deli? Is that
Yeah,
what
Saginaw Deli
Yeah.
at Circa.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is Zingerman's. So I know somebody on Twitter just posted, a picture of their room and stuff. If you love deli sandwiches, go there. They know how to make them. Michigan has good delis. Zingerman's is one of the best. And then they opened it up there. And it's funny, Saginaw is where my parents are from. So that's a tie back to, my history and where I grew up for a little bit. And that's where I went to high school and everything. So pretty cool. Definitely check it out.
All right. Well, should we bring on Adam, travel fanboy?
I guess.
He's
I mean,
here.
I'm waiting until I see him sitting there, but he doesn't have a big hat on, so I'm kind of depressed right now.
He's just got a regular hat. All right. We're gonna bring it in right here. What's up, Adam? Thanks
Hey,
for
guys. How you doing?
joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me. Yeah, I didn't, big hats it steals the show, and I didn't want to,
Well, you're just making so much money tonight through all these fanboy mentions.
Oh, I know.
The funny thing is, like, on my last Vegas trip, I meet, one of my best friends, the guy I travel with all the time. He brings his friend from Phoenix out. And this guy, like, if you follow Travel Fanboy on Twitter, like, you see his profile pic, it's him in glasses and a big brown hat. And this guy, his friend Dan, shows up, and I'm like, oh my God, you look exactly like my friend Adam. Like, exactly. So I sent him a picture. He's like, who is this guy? Where did he come from? And Saving Traveler Rick was there. He's like, and the next day he shows up, and he's like, that guy looks like Travel Fanboy. What's going on?
Yeah, that guy heard from my lawyer, so it's we're settling this offline. But I didn't want to show up Bethany because she's like dressed to nines and makes us all look like schlubs. So I'd tone it down a bit.
I appreciate you saying that. Thank
Yeah.
you. I mean, you're dressed like somebody from like the Adirondacks or something.
I get like ultimate dad wear now, so that's what I've been out buying.
Yeah,
outfits.
the Nike's ultimate dad shoes.
That's right.
So,
I gotta
Adam,
get
you
grass stains.
have your Vegas newsletter. How's that going?
It's going great. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you guys linking to it before and talking about it. It's been a lot of fun for me. It's one of those things where I'm probably like Mark and Bethany, since we don't live there. I spend all my time thinking about Vegas, looking for stuff, and it's like, well, I might as well just write about it. I'm already doing it anyway for fun. Might as well kind of just make something out of it. So it's been a fun experience, that's for sure.
And do you have what's the URL people can do if they want to sign up?
Shawn, these are great questions that I have answers to. If you go to travelfanboy.com, you can see like the little newsletter thing at the top. I was not expecting that, so and I probably should know it off the top of my head, but
All right.
it's big hats.
We are subscribers, so
Yeah, no,
big
I
thumbs up
appreciate
for
that.
it.
I finally figured out how to get our
he-
names up on the screen. It only took me
He always
entire time.
apologizes, like when he has a baby and his newsletter comes out late. Just excuses, but
Yeah.
it's always good stuff.
Every week.
Yeah, we
something
are.
new.
We are subscribers. I subscribe, and I find that he exceeds the value that I pay pretty
Thank
much
you.
every time. So.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, what is
so-
it, like $4? It's well worth double that at least. Maybe that's
It's $3. Yeah, I'm not that bougie. Okay, I gotta keep it.
He'll get
I
it'll go
remember.
up though. You gotta say it's going up to $4. You better sign up now at $3.
That's right.
as it
yeah.
should.
Yeah.
Yep. So how long ago? I don't know if you even remember tweeting about what the best side of the strip, the east versus the west side, was. It was a while ago.
I think it was like early 2020. I was like just thinking about Vegas, Jones and Fort. So it's like, and that's really all I can do anymore since I don't live there and I haven't been in a while. Just do these fun little thought experiments, that fill my time. That's pretty much it. So yeah, I think I turned
Quick,
into
get
a
two
blog
people.
post. I'm not sure.
For the Brady Bunch.
That's right.
That's funny.
Welcome to doing a live stream with Mark. You just talk and he laughs at the comments the whole time while you're trying to talk.
Yes.
Mark, early 2020 was not that funny, so I don't know what's going on right now.
Yeah, that's pretty much me. Like, I'm just telling the story and he's laughing. I'm like, he's not supposed to be laughing. Oh, he's laughing at the comments. But yeah, I mean, so did you put out a poll? I think a lot of people answered it, and there was like a spirited debate. Like, I was really impressed with how deep people really went on this subject, with like how all the different angles they thought of, and like all the ways that they could do their trips, and like if they only ever could go to one side of the strip again. And I think a lot of people like took that, that was heavy for them.
Yeah, I think for me, I thought it was going to be like a pretty superficial thing where it's just like, oh, I play on this side, or I like this side, I'm going to stay there. But I think people started to get I think people were bored, to be honest with you, but they started getting really intense about it. Like, wait, but if I do this, then I'm missing out on all this over here. And then this side's kind of expensive. So, yeah.
I'm just I'm laughing at more comments.
He's such a dick.
I had a, I do a podcast with him every week, and like every time I'm telling a story, he's never paying attention to me.
Oh, the funny thing is, like, all our negative podcast reviews is about my laugh. Like, every negative podcast review we've ever gotten is, well, Mark's laugh is really distracting. So
it's your frat boy nature, right? Is that what it was?
That was the other one. Yeah.
Adam,
sure.
what are you drinking?
The funny thing is,
drinking?
Adam couldn't remember travelfanboy.com/newsletter.
Well, you did a good job with it, though. Like, at least getting it.
It's a complicated URL structure I have set up there, clearly. I'm drinking Smoke Wagon, which is from Nevada Distillery, which is really good. Pretty rare to find it out here, so figured, we're in the spirit here.
Mark, what are you drinking?
Oh, I said earlier, Mr. Blue Sky from Griffin Claw Brewery, Michigan, Detroit area brewery, really good. Also have some Saugatuck Brewing Blueberry Lemonade Shanty, which is a good summer beer.
Oh, that sounds good.
That sounds yummy.
Yeah, it's really tasty.
Yeah, so all right, well let's get into this. Like, we don't have a lot planned for this East versus West thing, but I know we all have a lot to say about it. And like, so Adam, like, how you said people took it a little seriously. How, I guess we should go back. How did it end up? Like, was there a clear-cut winner when everybody sort of voted and went through all their reasoning? And
I think people were leaning West Side, which is where I lean quite a bit. I know, Shawn, you're going to be on the East Side because the Boring Company tunnel's over there, I think.
Yeah, that's all I need, right?
Happen, right?
Yeah, they could put hotel beds inside the tunnels, and I could just sleep there. That would be that would be incredible.
I think it's really. I mean, it was closer than I thought, though, because I think once you start getting like way north on the east side of the strip, we've got, Venetian Palazzo, which I think like the Grand Canal shops are pretty underappreciated spot in Vegas, just for so many good happy hours, restaurants, those kinds of things. And then you've got Wynn, which is one of the best resorts in the country, in my opinion. That makes it really tough to ignore the east side. That, and I think MGM Grand is a pretty underappreciated property too. But the problem is you've got kind of murderer's row on the west side there. You've got Aria, you got Cosmo, you got Bellagio, and that's really hard to give up. And then even if you do want to be kind of bougie on a budget, Bethany style, the very popular Delano deals through FHR and LHRCs there. And then you still got like some low roller options with Treasure Island, which is a pretty good low roller gambling property. And then you've got the non-smoking stuff. So you've got Park MGM, you've got Vidara. So I think West is really tough to beat, but I think I'm sure I can be talked into leaning East Side a little bit if there's some compelling arguments. That's for sure.
The West Side also has all the trams, which
right.
Although the East Side has the monorail, so you have an interesting thing to tie in there. But I don't know, Mark. Where are you leaning, East versus West Side? Like, where do you think when you're only going to get one side, what are you going to take?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it breaks down to if you're an MGM person or a Caesars person, because Caesars is mostly east, MGM's mostly west. Caesars' top property is Caesars, which is on the west, but I kind of hate Caesars if I'm being honest, because it's the most confusing casino I've ever been in. It's just like a circle attached to a circle attached to a circle. It's like they made, everybody tries to make their casino hard to navigate, and they made it like 4 times, basically. So I've stayed there like 3-4 times.
It's like a limestone maze.
Yeah, I struggle to like find, it takes me like a day and a half to get my bearings every time I go there. So I am East Side, being a Caesars Entertainment. That could switch because they pretty much made that program garbage juice over the last 6 months or so. But I love Planet Hollywood. It's a fun place, Dancing Girls Party Pit, all that stuff. So that's one of my favorite places to gamble on the Strip. I think Paris is the most underrated casino hotel, bang for your buck value-wise. It's a mid-tier property price-wise, but, the restaurants as well as the hotel rooms, if you get like the next tier up hotel room, is kind of like lower, higher end. Cromwell is my favorite. Shawn hates on it all the time. But it is. I
mean, that room was just so warm. I stayed there opening night and it was dirty.
Yeah,
how does a room get dirty when it's been closed for 6 months?
You know what? But when you walk into Cromwell, the smell of the casino, I don't know what it is. What they pump in there.
It is good.
The smell is amazing. The casino is really well done. It's small. It's boutique. It's comfortable. And if you love people watching, 3 a.m., get a blackjack table and watch everybody come off the elevator at Dre's, because the rooftop pool, it's amazing. Just the people, what they're wearing and how they stumble out is crazy. So I like that. You have the promenade, the Link Promenade, which has a lot of great food options, store options, which the West Side doesn't really have. I know they have the stuff around the T-Mobile, but it's not really that great built up area. So I just kind of feel like if you want to party, like Link, if you want to puke in a pool, you go to Link. That's where you.
Yeah, that's a ringing endorsement for the East Side, isn't it, Bethany?
Oddly, everyone at the Link pool never has to leave to go to the bathroom.
So don't go in the water. Get that. But I will say, like, the Link room where you have the that I booked, and we did a video on it, where you have the patio, you have basically the cabana attached to the room. That's pretty unique, and it's really cool. I wouldn't go primetime summer because the pool is just crazy. But if you go shoulder season before summer or just after summer, you're going to get a lot of value out of that. So I am definitely East Side, but I'm not super bougie either. I like more of the party atmosphere, and I think East Side delivers there.
All right, Bethany. We know what your answer is, but I want to hear you give some love to the East Side. Tell me some redeeming qualities about it.
Okay, so first I want to say that Mark hit the nail on the head with one of the best things to do in a casino if you're up late is to go and find like a blackjack or pie gow table right outside of the club, because you cannot imagine what happens when people walk outside of the club in their little tiny short dresses with their heels on, falling over. It's like, it's priceless.
Dre's is the best.
I don't know if
Dre's is the best.
Yeah. I can only imagine. On the East Coast, we have Murmur Mondays, which was the Borgata's like big club night. And I mean, oh, man, it was awesome. Awesome. So that's definitely a big plus for the East Side. The other plus I have is that, I don't know. Lululemon is over there. So that's a great place to get some sweatpants if you need them. And
really?
If you can be brave enough to walk across the bridge.
Well, you
have to fight through it, and then you get Lululemon.
No, you know what? Palazzo and Venetian has like a ton of really nice restaurants. So that's it. Oh, and the new slider place, David Chang's. Have you had that yet, Shawn?
No.
I'm dying to go there.
I totally forgot to give props to Fish and Chips. If you love fish and chips, Gordon Ramsay's in the Link Promenade, probably the best fish and chips I've had in the world. In England, London, like Dublin, all that stuff. For some reason, this guy figured it out. And the trick is, you get it there. It's $15. If you go to his chop house, steakhouse, his pub, it's $30. So just get it to go box. It's amazing. The dips, get the spicy aioli dip. It's great.
It is good.
It is. It's amazing.
But they do have it on the West Side at just for a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, for double the price. Double the price.
But you can still get it. So if you're sticking to the West Side, at least you can pay up to get the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, you know what else is really great about the East Side? CVS. Because if you're like me and you drink a lot of water, you've learned the hard way that they charge $26 for the big Fijis. And you can get them at CVS for like $3.
Your husband got the bill and was like losing his mind when you checked out, and it was $150 in Fiji water.
They have a CVS, but they have a CVS on the West Side now. They have a CVS on the West Side now, so there you go, Mark. It's getting one by one. All the East Side is just getting beat.
East Side's where the fun's at.
You know what? I had a really good time at what's it called? O'Malley's. It was the place with the beer pong.
You can tell
O'Shea's. Do not disrespect O'Shea's.
Tequila Neal.
O'Shea. Oh my God, I'm about to lose my mind right now.
That is a big point for the East Side. Big point.
We had a really good time. Yeah.
No, I miss the old O'Shea's where it was really divey and they would deep fry anything in the back. Like that was really cool, and then they tore it down to make the promenade, and then it was cool that the Link added it in. So that's still a great place to go if you want to party, have a good time. They have live music. The tables, music's always loud. Beer pong, pretty decent prices for a bar at a casino.
Spot.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I guess the West Side's not deep frying anything, so I guess we lose there. That's,
Yeah, you know,
nailed it.
You have to go to. I mean, Mermaid's Lounge isn't there anymore either on Fremont, so you can't deep fry stuff there.
I know. You just got to pay a guy.
Yeah, they hang out in the back alley behind
right.
Flamingo.
That's the guy at O'Shea's. Wasn't a restaurant. That was just a guy. They just let him stay.
Yeah. Yeah, anybody who was in the old O'Shea's knows that's true too.
New spot? Oh, sorry, Shawn.
Oh, and the east side is closer to Ellis Island. Boom, winner, done. Hashtag over.
How is that a good thing?
No, you haven't been. That's how you don't even know.
We can't get her to go.
That's true. Oh, Adam loves it. What did you have? You had a deal worked or like a fun promo with them that if you they got a free beer if you went to Ellis Island back in the day a couple years ago.
Yeah, that was like 4 or 5 years ago. I think I reached out to Christina Ellis, who does the marketing there. Her family obviously owns the place, and I was like, "Yeah, let's just do something fun." Like I was gonna say, "Hey, instead of advertising on my show, let's just have a promo. So instead of you paying me, like I'll just give that back to the people who listen." So they did this thing where if you came and said that I sent you, like you said my name at their players club, they gave you like a free beer and a free shot as long as you sign up for a players card. So it was fun seeing people like take pictures of it online and stuff like that. And Casino Royale did the same thing for me, but like totally botched it. So people would go to the bar and be like, "Hey, this guy sent me." They're like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Shocking. Casino Royale. Shocking.
All right, Bethany. So what about the West Side? What do you love so much? I mean, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but why is it the best side?
Sorry, my mouse. Okay, yeah, so it's just the nicest because the hotels are bougier and the restaurants are better. I mean, I don't really have anything else. Like, I love nice hotels, and I happen to love the Sky Suites, and I love Cosmo. And the only thing I don't love about Cosmo though is like the young clientele. If you're ever on an elevator with these people, you'll know exactly what I mean. They also happen to be like the place that all of the Electric Daisy Carnival goers stay at. So like if you ever see like people with purple hair and tutus like running around a casino with no shoes on, you know that you're in the middle of like an electronic dance festival. That's the only thing I don't like about Cosmo. So during that time, you stay at Aria.
But they're everywhere.
I
I had it at Link. There was people lined up out the door one time when I was staying there for EDC and all waiting for the buses to pick them up. So I think that's just like pretty much everywhere they show up.
But that could be a positive because
good
exactly
people
that's what I was going to say. That
Great
could be a
people
positive
watching.
for that. And I actually saw the craziest EDC people I've ever seen at Cosmo. To your point, so I don't know if the crazy ones
love
stay
to
there.
stay there. It's really weird. I think it's because like 10 of them stay in a room and like they alternate. I don't know. Sorry to anybody with purple hair wearing a tutu right now. I don't mean anything by
Purple
it.
hair is hot. Tutus are hot. I don't know what you're talking about.
I used to have
like them
blue hair, so yeah, I can get into it.
Purple's better. I'm not gonna lie.
So I've been
All right, good, sure.
I've been thinking about this. I've been
Sorry,
thinking
Shawn.
about this.
Go ahead.
No.
I appreciate that you paused for the final of the laugh. I appreciate that.
I appreciate your laugh. I mean, I got to deal with it enough that I have learned to appreciate it, so that I don't spend my life miserable. No, I think the West Side wins. I'm sorry. I think the West Side wins. I'm just gonna say it. I used to think the East Side. I think Wynn is the best hotel in Las Vegas. I think Venetian and Palazzo are probably number 3 behind Cosmo. Would be my assertion, but.
It's kind of crazy. I didn't like the Venetian at all when I stayed. Like, I love the food there is great, but I wasn't overly impressed with the room. I know, the suite was nice and having the steps down, but I thought and this was 10, 12 years ago I stayed there. They got my name. I'm guessing like a host left and went there. They got my name. They sent me an offer, free rooms, $400 and free play type of stuff. So I was like, all right, let's stay there next time. And I was expecting to be blown away, and I really wasn't. It seemed a little beat up in the rooms.
I don't think I had that experience, but I guess that's just a relative thing. Obviously, they're themed, so that's a different sort of feel for a luxury hotel. And I think sometimes in people's minds, they associate theming with like lower tiered hotels, like Luxor or something like that. But yeah, the Venetian is good. I think that both the Wynn and Venetian Palazzo, Wynn Encore, Venetian Palazzo are great resorts if you want to just sort of stay there and not go a lot of places. But if you want to go around, I think somewhere like Cosmo is better in my opinion. But I think on the west side you have things like the Bellagio fountains and the Mirage volcanoes. You got Mandalay Bay with that amazing pool. You pointed out Delano earlier, which is great, except for their Raiders suite, which is a little bit.
We didn't talk about that in MtM Vegas, but
did you see that? Did you guys see that?
Did you see the Raiders suite?
Yeah, it's a little over the top.
No,
it's like the most boring thing ever with a sticker.
They just put a Raiders sticker behind the bar, and they're like, "Hey, it's a Raiders suite," and I'm like, "Really? You couldn't put some jerseys up?" Like, I think it'd be a great idea if they did it right. Like, have some pictures of the stadium, signed jerseys, something cool like that. Like Planet Hollywood has all these. The suites all have movie memorabilia in there, and you can't get some Raiders stuff in there. You just put a sticker behind the bar and say, "Oh, now it's a Raiders suite." Mm-hmm. I love how they're probably going to sell the rooms Stadium View now instead of just like desolate land view.
No, they already are selling them like that. Yeah. But I mean, that is an incredible view. To your point, why not spend a little bit of money and make it like a really cool themed Raiders suite? Because the view in that particular room that we saw the pictures of is incredible. I mean, it looks right down on the stadium but that hotel, I think Adam and I both really love that hotel. I don't love the look of that suite. It's very basic looking, but the normal rooms, which are suites as well, they're very kind of white and Miami, sort of South Beachy kind of a feel, but very nice and great luxury. And oftentimes, like on American Express, fine hotels and resorts for less than $100, you're getting breakfast, you're getting resort credit, all that stuff. So Delano is.
I will say. Mandalay Bay, the pool could be cool, but it's kind of a drawback for me. When we stay there, you have to run down there and reserve a chair. Otherwise, you're like, you have to put your towel down on the beach behind a cabana type of thing, and you're behind a tent in the corner. So I felt like you're almost in Mexico, where you have to run down there early in the morning and reserve if you didn't want to get down there. And I don't know, it could be better. And then it was like, oh, wave, 15 minutes later. Oh, here's the second wave.
So what's everybody's favorite pool? Like, what's the best pool?
Circa.
Yeah, I would put Circa in the top 5. I wouldn't put it as the best pool area. Although I mean, if you love sports, though, I could see making an argument for it being the best pool area. But
for me, as somebody that isn't, Bethany knows this. I don't like hanging out at the pool. I don't like sitting still or just lounging. So I do like Circa a lot because if you are sports betting and they have the bar, they have the DJ all day long. And that's all included in it, where you usually have to go to like the day club or whatever if you go to a pool. So I like that aspect of it, and I like it at night when it lights up. You're seeing all of the Fremont street lights and the top of all the other casinos. So I think it's a really cool atmosphere. It's different than anything else. Like I would go to that pool not intending to swim or lay out in the sun and just hang out and watch a game. So that's why I like it. But I'm like the worst person to ask because I don't like pools.
I think my issue with the Circa pool is, if you don't have a cabana, that thing's going to get steaming hot in the middle of the day because they want to protect those sight lines. I think my favorites are Cosmo, only because I'm with you, Mark, is I'd hate trying to find a place to sit. And if you're with a few people, the cool thing that Cosmo does, and I've talked about this before, is all their chair rentals, cabana rentals, their food and beverage minimums. So, you can have a really chill day at like Chelsea. Boulevard is okay, but it's pretty pricey on the main pool level. But you can chill out at Chelsea all day with a few people, and spend a few bucks at the pool and have a reserved spot for not a crazy amount of money, which is nice.
One thing the East Side has going for it pool-wise is old school Vegas pools. Two of the best, the Flamingo and Tropicana, have two of the best old school Vegas kind of
Flamingo is a really
pools.
Good pool for that hotel. It is it is an awesome pool.
And Trop's pool is very similar. MGM Grand has a great pool area with Lazy River and lots going on there. And Mandalay Bay, I think, with its wave pool.
We could have thrown Hard Rock in there, but Virgin blew it up. Otherwise, that'd be
I mean, the new pool at Virgin is okay. I mean, it's just not anything special. But it has a beach. It has a sandy beach and stuff. It's not terrible. I mean, there's certainly worse pools in Vegas. But, I mean, I like the pool areas with, I don't know, something different than just a bunch of, like, bathtub kind of pools. And I feel like even at, like, City Center at Aria, it's all kind of the same thing. I don't know. Those pools aren't they're really nice, but they're not what draw me in. I like something that has like a hook, a little different.
I think Aria's pools are shitty. I agree with you. I'm surprised nobody mentioned Bellagio though. They're so like classic, and they're one of the few that actually have cold water. And I hate heated pools. So
I'm the opposite of that. I look for that. But Wynn, to your point, Wynn is beautiful too. Like sort of this very classic, beautiful gardens everywhere. You'll just want to hang out outside and relax. And like Wynn is just the place that you just want to kind of go inside and not leave for a few days and never see the light of day and just sort of bathe in all of that. And the pool does that. So I don't know. Mirage has a really nice kind of old school pool as well. So
now what is, Monte Carlo always had, like a wave pool that not a lot of people knew about. So I haven't been since, Park, MGM took it over and Nomad. So did you walk up there at all, Shawn, when you were staying there?
Yeah. It's not good. I mean,
they gutted it basically.
They gave it the bathtub effect. So they they had a lazy river, they had a wave pool, and they had a pool. And now they have 3 bathtubs. So just 3 regular pools out there. And then Nomad has its own bathtub upstairs on the roof. So there's 4 pools there. None of them are, so they took what was kind of unique. They had beach volleyball there, I think, also in that pool area at Monte Carlo, and that's gone too.
I will say a pool that I liked, Planet Hollywood's pool is like on the rooftop. It's nothing special, but if you stayed back, in the hotel, the timeshare property, which has gone through, I stayed back when it was Westgate, and that was really cool because they had an 8-foot projection TV. So we stayed there during March Madness, and we had 2 bedrooms, a huge living room, and you're having a projection TV to watch games. So we had a TV on in the kitchen on the 8-foot projection TV, and then we had a game on in each bedroom. So we had all 4 games going at one time, which was pretty awesome. And their pool there was actually pretty nice. So that's something people don't really think about when they're staying on the Strip. And so that's something it's a short walk through the mall to the Planet Hollywood Casino. So it's something to check out. Prices have gone way up since then. Like the second year, we got a 2-bedroom suite for like a 3-4 day weekend for like $1,200. The next year we had to get a 1-bedroom plus the living room for the same price. So prices have just kept going up, but you never know. You might strike gold on getting a cheap rate.
I hear the travel lodges on the Strip have nice pools as well, but I haven't tried those out yet.
Yes.
Has anybody stayed? Have you stayed at the Travel Lodge, Adam? Have you stayed at any of those?
Absolutely not. It's not happening.
I keep thinking I need to do it. Like at least rent a room there and like one of them.
And the Polo Towers. Every time I walk by the Polo Towers, I'm like, what is going on here? Like,
why?
How is this not sold?
Any place with an hourly rate, I'm not staying there.
Those Travel Lodges have both been there forever. Like there's pictures of like Circus back in the 60s with that Travel Lodge there.
If the Travel Lodge has the old coin operated beds, I might have to give it a try. I mean,
wait,
that's
do
old
they
school Vegas.
love pay by the hour motels? So do they actually have?
I wouldn't put it past them.
I mean,
I'll check it out.
You never know.
It's only a 3-minute walk from Resorts World, so or at least the one up by Circus is, and the other one's right across from City Center. So either way, you got a good location for
you guys ever watch that? What was that? The movie The Wizard. That was basically like a Nintendo system commercial that they made in a movie with Fred Savage, and they were playing at the arcade at Riviera, and I was like, that looks amazing. And I hit the Riviera before it shut down, but I never got to see the arcade really set up, which I know, Shawn, you probably did, didn't you, as a kid?
We didn't really go that far north, I don't think. So I don't have a lot of memories of Riviera as a kid. I did visit it as an adult, and I even stayed there the last night, which I'm like, and if you ever get a chance to stay, if we lose another one of these places when they close, stay there on the last night and like soak it in. The pool there was really cool. It was very old school. I think it was really deep too, the pool at the Riviera, and it was in a courtyard because they just built all the towers around it over the years. But it's I don't know. I miss the Riviera. I never like loved it as a kid, and then I just sort of fell in love with it. Like discovered it the last few years of its life, and it was sort of the last really old school Vegas thing left on the Strip. I think with Tropicana fully renovated, Flamingo doesn't look anything like it used to, and it still sort of felt like old Vegas, but its time had gone. But yeah, nice. That was a cool pool as well. And I don't know. I mean, Are we gonna lose?
I like-
we gonna lose any more casinos soon? That would be sad.
I will say one thing about Westgate that I love is have you ever been to the Benihana there? Like when you walk into the restaurant and how it looks like a little village.
It's kind of themed. It is actually.
It's really
kinda
cool.
neat.
Like once you get to the table and you're sitting there, it's like any other Benihana. But when you first walk in the bar area, it's like a themed. Like you feel like you're in it, like a little Asian village, which is pretty amazing. Like it's probably my favorite Benihana Japanese steakhouse type of thing, just because of that theming. Like I'd go sit at that bar. Just you feel like you're sitting there in this village, even though once you get to your table, you're just at a regular Benihana where they, they do their thing. But before you get there, you're like, whoa, this is cool as hell.
We'll just take you to the Japan Pavilion in Epcot when we're there later this year, and you'll get the same experience.
There you go. Same experience.
All right, let's talk Resorts World a little bit, like our predictions, what we think's going to happen for Resorts World. Is it, first off, are people were so hard on Virgin Hotels because they weren't ready. Are people going to forgive Resorts World and just like look over the fact when they're not ready? Or are they going to hold them to account for that? Or just because everybody has such good vibes for it, they're just going to praise it?
They're going to be forgiven. I think that, what was it called?
Virgin.
Resorts.
What was the one?
Oh, Virgin
thank
Hotels.
A little too much champagne, Bethany.
I know.
Travel Lodge.
And it's only one bottle. Usually
Travel
I'm
Lodge.
It's only one bottle. Like, oh, this is like my Tuesday. I will say, okay, everybody that doesn't know, Bethany, she does the Peloton bike, and instead of having like a bottle of water, she has like a glass of wine while she Pelotons.
Rosé. Yeah. It's true. Yeah. So I think that people did not want to forgive Virgin because it was kind of crappy. Like they weren't even trying to be opulent, It was just like you were expecting this great big thing that lived up to the Virgin name, and instead really you got just a crappy hotel, like a crappy Hilton. I think Resorts World is going to be different.
I think a big part of that too is, Hard Rock was a loved hotel, loved brand, and Virgin took it over, and you're like, okay, they're spending all this time and money. It has to be better. Like they can't make it worse, and they actually kind of made it worse. Where Resorts World is ground up, so you're gonna get a little more leeway because nobody has any expectations, nobody has any history there. Where Virgin, a lot of people loved Hard Rock, and then you come in and you're like, whoa. What, one, you destroyed one of the best pools in Vegas. Two, like the theming is weird. Poop carpet everywhere. What the hell?
Only in one tower.
And you got rid of the center bar, which was one of the coolest things in Vegas. You hear people talking across the bar from you, and you just rip that out. Like why? So they made a lot of weird decisions. Where Resorts World is a massive undertaking, building from ground up. So I think they'll get a lot more leeway. Would be my guess.
Yeah, I think you're
and
right.
It's also much bigger, and there are a lot more options.
Yeah.
Yeah, I trust the management at Resorts World a lot more than I do Virgin. And Virgin they didn't outperform Hard Rock at its worst. So if you're going to try and get people out there, you want to entice people. Like you can't mess up that opening. And yeah, I don't think Resorts World's going to be as bad, but company that with, I think you're both right. They're going to get a lot more leeway, and you have more options there. So, this was kind of fumbled a little bit. Well, let's go over to this restaurant, or let's try this out. And I'm hoping that it goes well. We want everything to go well in Vegas, but yeah, I think Virgin really missed the mark when they opened.
And like we said earlier in the stream, there are some restaurants that are not going to open. There's a lot of venues that had not been scheduled to open, like entertainment venues, like the theater is not going to open until way later this year, which makes sense because they're building this in the middle of COVID, and they made a decision that they weren't going to open it, and they focused on other things. And I think that was that made sense. But yeah, I remember visiting Luxor the first week that it opened and watching landscapers lay sod at the base of the pyramid in dirt, and that was, it was open and everything else. That's just sort of in the tradition of these places. They set a date, and they're gonna have to get there. And I think Resorts World's put so much thought into every level of this that they're gonna get leeway, and what opens should be pretty good. And I think the opening will go really well, and it'll be well received. And I cannot wait again to go to that hawker center to eat me some good Singaporean, Malaysian food. What are you guys most looking forward to about Virgin, about Resorts World?
The fact that it's not Virgin. Is that?
Oh God, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I'm the only one who's actually stayed there. It's not that bad.
No, I mean, I think anyone who loves Vegas just loves something new, and to see like a new development, something that's not a makeover. They're not just putting lipstick on something. It's exciting, and it goes back to that's why I think a lot of people are going to give it some leeway because it's something brand new that we've kind of been jonesing for. We haven't anything this big or grand since like Cosmo, I think. And so I think, and then for, the nerdy Points and Miles people, they've got another option where they can stay. That's not the Travelodge and the Motel 6, wherever Points and Miles bloggers are staying in Vegas. But yeah, I mean, just something big, bold, new, opulent. It's going to be fun. And I'm looking forward to seeing people covered. I know a lot of people are going to be out there. And I'm looking forward to seeing that.
I was a little less light at Points and Miles bloggers.
Well, did I say something?
That made me laugh so.
They're all at the Hyatt place right now watching, the iPad.
Yeah, but it is nice to have another option. Virgin is one that you can use Hilton points at, but it's nice to have another one. And one that I want to stay at is the Hilton what is it, like the Vacation Club or whatever, that's right next to Resorts
Behind
World.
Flamingo, is it that one?
No, there's one that's right next to Resorts World, so you could actually use if you have Hilton points, and you can get it for like half price, and they have a decent looking pool, and it's a full like condo where you get a kitchen. So if you wanted to do Vegas like low key with a family on a budget type of thing, a good pool, you can cook your meals, and you're right there for Resorts World. But I'll say the thing I'm most excited about is I want to see what the rewards program is like. I want to gamble there. I'm going to basically throw money at Resorts World and throw money at Circa when I go back out there in September. And I'm going to see which one wins me over, because I was a Caesars fanboy for years and years. And 10 years ago, Caesars was overly generous. They gave you everything you wanted, free stuff, free food. I got like $500 Home Depot gift cards for going out there, like all kinds of crazy stuff. And, over the last 2 years, they've destroyed that program. MGM's never been super rewarding to me. It's decent, but it's not great. So I want to see if one of these two is great. So I'm looking forward to trying that out and seeing, what it's all about. What kind of offers can I get? And then I'll try Circa as well. And then between those two, I might pick a new home base whenever I go to Vegas.
You keep costing me money, Mark. Enough with the fanboy, all right?
He's running it up.
He's keeping track.
Better with you.
He's keeping. No, I think the rewards program, that'll be really interesting. Obviously, with the cashless gaming and how that works, how it's all tied together into their app. It's going to be first time where you're really, I guess MGM, Caesars have their apps and you can use them, but this is going to be the first time where you're really going to be tied into the app of the casino that you're at, and they're really going to be trying to force you into using that, and I think collecting even a whole other level of data on customers. So it'll be interesting to see how those offers go out and how it differs from some other programs. Generally, early on, casinos, when they first open, the first few days, the slots are pretty loose. So it'll be interesting to see if people are winning a lot. That didn't happen at Virgin. They were notoriously bad, but I know at Circa the slots were pretty good the first week. So hopefully people can win a lot. So Mark, you're staying. We said earlier you're staying at Crockford's and Conrad, and Rick, who's moderating. Thanks so much, Rick, for moderating the chat here. Gave us a good tip to recheck your rates, because we had booked on points. I had booked my Conrad stay, and it's gone down in points. So just make sure you check your your Resorts World reservations,
which
if you,
means
haven't done
likely
it.
cash rates have gone down too. So even if you have cash rates checked, because usually you have 24 hours, check the window. It's either 24 hours or 3 days. I'm not sure what it is there, but if it's 24 hours, cancel, rebook at the lower rate. So definitely double check that, and you should do that anytime you go to Vegas.
We figured out a loophole.
No, I trademark all phonetical.
He can't remember Travel Fanboy /newsletter, but he took care of all of it. All the options for Travel Fanboy.
So Adam, when's your next trip? When are you coming to check out Resorts World?
Oh gosh, I don't know. It's COVID happened and then the kid happened, so I'm hoping. Before the end of this year, I'll be out there. But I think behind a paywall, I talked about how I think MGM, Wynn, and Cosmo are going to be the three that I throw money at, because I think Mike or Mr. T, it's great to have him in here, saying in the chat that it feels like Caesars is nickel and diming, kind of gutting that program, and I tend to agree a little bit. And so, I think and resorts will be another interesting option. Yeah, it is. But it's one thing. We get frustrated by it, but there's options out there, and depending where you play, how you treat people, you can get some good offers. So yeah, you just got to be careful about it. But yeah, it's looking forward to getting out there. But in the meantime, I've been enjoying your guys' content, of course, Bethany's content. There's a lot of good Vegas content creators, so it's been easing my pain of not having gone for a while.
Yeah, a lot of good vloggers, a lot of good people who love the city and love to cover it in like every different way. So no matter what you like about it, you can find somebody who you like. And I think I'll be at Resorts World tomorrow. I think Jasmine's going to be there with me, so we'll be hanging out. But I think pretty much, hopefully, the whole city will be there. I think it's going to be pretty packed. And it's been 10 years, or 11 years.
Yes. It'll be. I'm jealous. I'm a little bit jealous, but I'm also not jealous because it's going to be a shit show. But I'm also jealous at the same time. I'm happily going to be there. So I'll still see it all, but like with less of a shit show, like a half a shit instead of a full shit.
But to our point, we're going to have coverage like all of the next week for it, because we're going to have videos of the rooms, and we're going to be staying there, and paying to stay there so that we can tell you what we really think. So no fake reviews coming from us. No, we're not, paid to do anything. So hopefully we'll be able to convey what it really is like, whether it's, it could be a mess, that could happen at the beginning for sure. Although the hotel seems like they're mostly done. We've seen lots of videos of the rooms and stuff.
Hopefully they have pictures on the wall, unlike Virgin. Like, just put a nail in, hang it up, call it good. Something. I don't know. I'm
looking
curious
forward to seeing how all the Hilton Diamond people act as they check in.
Everybody with the credit card.
That's what's interesting, because who knows if they'll get free breakfast or whatnot. And if you're a Hilton member, if you have the Aspire card, you get Diamond. If you have the Surpass card, you get Gold. Normally that comes with free breakfast. And we're going to be staying there like kind of in the transition where they switch to giving a daily credit versus breakfast. So I'm actually looking forward to that when we stay at Waldorf in September, because I'll be getting $50 a day to spend at the pool bar versus a breakfast that I can go get for like $6 down the street. So I'm curious to see what they do there. Is it a credit? Is it breakfast? Do they give you nothing?
If they give you nothing, it's going to be front page boarding area for a week and a half.
I'll be like, giraffe. Where's my giraffe parking?
Oh my gosh!
Well, nobody will know because they're all staying at Hyatt Place. So who's going to write it up?
They're driving there.
It's a good point.
But it'll probably be a $12 credit or a $15 credit, depending on which brand you're staying at Conrad. That'd be my point. I expect that from day one.
Crockford's should be $25
or 25. I'm sorry, 15 at Conrad and 12 at Hilton, right? Or in my office,
no, it should be
15
20,
at Hilton.
It should be 25 at Conrad and 25 per person, up to 2 people at Crockford. So if you have an Amex Platinum, you might not know this, but you can get Hilton Gold for free. So, something to check out.
Hopefully we see these hotels go on Amex, Fine Hotels and Resorts, or Chase Luxury Hotel Collection, where you can get free breakfast and add on other credits and stuff. I would imagine we probably will see those on those programs at some point soon. But I think Virgin, to their credit's giving Hilton Diamond suites. I got a suite. Rick got a suite on opening night. I got a suite like a month later. So hopefully they have something to upgrade people into. But in the beginning, I'm sure they're going to be so full that it's not going to happen. I wouldn't expect a suite as a Diamond. You'll probably be lucky to get a good view if you're booked into a base room. That's my guess there. I'm not all that impressed. I'm going to tell you, with the look of the Hilton rooms, they don't really do much for me. I'm a little disappointed in the look of the Conrad rooms. I don't know. I mean, I'm going in with an open mind, but I just love the Conrad in Macau so much, and the Conrad brand feels better. Anyway,
I've never been to a Crockford, so I'm kind of curious just to see what that brand's all about and to see what the rooms are like, because there's not very many of them in the whole world. So it's kind of a new launch for Hilton to rival Ritz-Carlton, that type of thing. 4 Seasons. So curious to see what that's all about. Probably will suck.
All right, I mean, 4 Seasons. Let's not get crazy here.
Hey, no, I mean, that's what
this brand is. That's what this brand is for. That's what they're launching it for. Can they pull it off? I don't think so. I don't know.
We'll see. Yeah, well,
you can book it on points. It's not the 4 Seasons. No.
Oh, I forgot to show my shirt.
I got
and my
an
wife
eye
forgot.
roll from Shawn there.
I forgot to show my shirt. So my wife
Yeah.
and she forgot to put MtM Vegas underneath it, but I'm unable to quit because I'm currently too legit. I thought Adam would appreciate that.
I mean, I love a good graphic tee. I mean, you can't. Just straight dad power there.
Oh, but next time when I'm in Vegas, it'll say MtM Vegas, hopefully. So that's the goal.
I got my upgraded MTM Diamond Lounge shirt on. That's our Diamond Lounge is
Which
all of
she
our
also
Patreon.
made.
Yes, she did. She did. Shout out to Kirsten. The Diamond Lounge is where we hang out with all of our Miles and Points crazy people, and patreon.com/miles to memories. If anybody is interested in that, it's really about miles and points and travel. Vegas we talk about, but it's not the main focus in there. So, but we do live streams and all kinds of other cool stuff. But I think we 2 hours. I mean that kind of flew by, didn't it? I mean,
it was awesome.
Hey, Bethany, I have a question before we got it.
Yes.
Bethany, how many words did you get through?
I did all 5.
So, guys, what I did was I texted Bethany before she came on and said I gave her 5 random words that she had to slip in without you guys knowing.
Oh boy.
okay. So what were they?
So now we don't have to pay the fanboy fee because she hit it.
So the words were, my wife helped me, squirrel, limestone. Limestone was funny. That was a Caesar's one.
She did bring that up. I remember limestone.
Obfuscate, Adirondack, and spaghetti.
I was wondering why
I was wondering where the Adirondacks.
I was wondering why obfuscate. You
Yes,
just throw
that
it
too.
in there.
Yeah.
So I was going to give her $5 a word.
And then the Adirondack, like, oh, that's a shirt you wear the Oh,
That was
good.
random.
I like
$5
that.
a word, you get $25 to ASPCA.
The ASPCA.
Yeah, but I will
That's
say this,
awesome.
guys. Before I appreciate you bringing me on. One thing I criticize Vegas vloggers. I poke fun all the time. But one thing I like about you guys and Shawn specifically living in Vegas is that you actually like think like a tourist and you go out and you try things. I mean, there's so many content creators, like especially Vegas locals, and tourists are like, "Hey, where should I go to eat?" And they send them to like their neighbor's mini mall that's like 2 minutes from their house. It's like, no, that's not where I want to go. So I appreciate, I think, for all the people that and if people are watching aren't really into Vegas or don't see these content creators that much, it's like it's really valuable stuff to be checking out these hotels and going through and giving kind of a raw opinion. So congrats on 20K subscribers and looking forward to seeing more.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you, both of you. And we're looking forward to the show launching with Bethany next month. We're doing the podcast, Adam, so we're definitely going to have you on as a guest often. Talk Vegas, everything. And congrats on the baby as well, for sure.
Thanks. Yeah.
It's been
We're glad
amazing.
that you were able to stay up this late after being woken up all night.
Woke me up at 3:30 in
Gonna
the
be up at
morning.
like 3 a.m., right?
He did. He's like, let's get the day started. I'm like, all right.
To your point, Adam, it's been amazing kind of getting to know Vegas more than I ever did, just because I'm down there filming and paying attention and trying to show things to people, and I'm discovering things that I never saw before, just kind of opening with a curious eye and being a little indulgent, like filming the crazy girls getting removed and just really putting my own...
And rubbing that ass.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, you gotta do. Hey, my wife never doesn't gamble that much, never done anything. And after I rubbed that butt, she hit 2 royal flushes in like 3 days. So I'm going to tell you something. Including that day, she hit her first one. And then 2 days later, she was with her sister and she hit another one. And
whenever they bring it back, now you got to lick it and get arrested. And then she'll be up in
Lord.
stratosphere.
Oh, my Lord. You really had to just go there. But, but it's been cool getting to see Vegas and getting better to know it. Like you guys see Vegas kind of after a while as a local, and so many locals just don't see it in that way, or they get so jaded by what's there, and there are so much exciting things, and covering the news every week, like just being in feeling the energy of Vegas constantly. It's been so much fun to cover it and like to connect with like thousands of other people who love it as much as I do in a different way. And I put up with Mark. That's the toughest part of all this. But
remember September? What is it? Is it 18th? Is that when we're doing it?
I think so.
Yes, September 18th is going to be the meetup. So remember, mark it down. If you live in the area, hopefully you can make it out. If you happen to be traveling to Vegas while you're there, have some drinks. Maybe that will be Adam's trip before the end of the year. We don't know, but
Depends. Rub some ass and find out. I don't know.
We're hoping.
yeah. So hopefully, we see you all there, meet you in person. I know Charlotte's going to be there. At least I hope so. So looking forward to it. Put it on your calendars. We'll give you more details as we get them.
Yep. And Bethany, BougieMiles.com. Where else can people find you? Just Bougie Miles on YouTube, right? Anywhere else you want to plug?
Yes, Bougie Miles on YouTube. I'm like so close to 1,000. And then I can really just take off like you did. I would be happy with like 2,000. So Bougie Miles on YouTube and BougieMiles.com. Lots of good Vegas-y stuff when it comes to loyalty programs.
And Adam, again, it was travelfanboy.com/newsletter, right?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, well,
You get there.
just Google
It was at the top. You just go to travelfanboy.com and newsletter was like the very first button. So
yeah.
Fun fact that we didn't talk about is that Adam used to be Vegas fanboy.
I was,
Yeah.
Then I rebranded because I was like, I saw a Hyatt house near my, my place of work. I'm like, I was like, there's something here that I'm missing. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Did you ever figure out what that was?
No, I didn't. No.
Yeah.
Just free night certs out the ass. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Wow. This was a lot of fun.
Mark, so for our content, anything related to Vegas, just go to MtMVegas.com. That'll take you to Miles.
Or circafanboy.com.
Or circafanboy.com. Yeah, and that'll take you to a page on miles2memories.com where you'll have all of our YouTube videos are on there, all of our posts on the website, because we do cover Vegas news, and especially from a miles and points perspective. So we do keep up on that. So anything that we do Vegas related, MtMVegas.com. And then miles2memories.com if you want to learn how to travel more, like, fly first class like Mark and mix your Johnny Walker Blue Label with Coke. Put soy sauce in your rice.
That Johnny Walker Blue plus Crumb, Krug. All that stuff cost me like $20 in taxes and fees. So it was pretty crazy experience, which we talked about on a podcast. So if you're interested in podcasts and travel, that was kind of fun. Big thanks to Rick for doing the moderation.
Yeah, Rick's awesome.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
Dinner is on me Friday night. Well, it's on Shawn, but I'm going to get the points, and then I'm going to bill Shawn. But Friday night when you're in town, where get the lobster, the surf and turf, whatever you want, Shawn's buying.
Yeah, Rick is a saving traveler, and check him out as well because he's great, especially on Twitter. He writes for Travel on Points, but on Twitter he has a lot of great, great Vegas stuff, including like he just discovered the Amex offers this week, and he's the one who told me to check to lower my rate at the Conrad. So he's a good guy. He's a good follow on Twitter, Saving Traveler. So we love Rick, and I'll see him this weekend. And he's a Circa fanboy too, just like you. So we're all in good company. All right. Well, so thanks everybody. Just if you don't forget everything, just go to miles2memories.com and we have everything.
Make sure you
over there.
Subscribe
to the channel. Do the thumbs up before you guys go.
Smash that like button.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Don't just push it. Smash it.
Like get angry with it.
Get angry with it.
YouTube thumbnails like video.
Do a Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman on Carmen Electra. Break that shit.
That's right.
Is that what I should start doing, Adam? Should I get my different faces for my YouTube thumbnail?
Like, I just walked into Costco. You won't believe what I found, and they're like, on the thumbnail and stuff. Yeah,
that's
totally believable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Have a good night, everybody. Thanks you so
everybody.
much.
We'll see you guys next time, July 14th for the next live stream, the Hump Day Happy Hour with Bethany, me, and Mark. See you guys then.
Maybe we'll get Adam on. We don't know.
We'll see.